For that reason, I ordered that the House proceeds to a roll call vote pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 71, which requires the Speaker to order the House to proceed to a roll call vote in event of a technical failure in the electronic system. Honorable members, the tellers for ayes and nays were Honorables Dr. Robert Pukose and Honorable Abdul Swamad Nasir, respectively. Upon presentation of the results of the roll call voting, the tellers, which they later handed over to me, I announced the result to the House as follows. The ayes, 69, and the nays, 56. Abstentions, 1. The total votes were 126. Honorable members, it has since been brought to my attention after scrutiny that the results as presented and announced had a tallying error on the ayes vote. The correct tally after confirmation ought to have been as follows. Ayes, 59, and not 69. 59 and not 69. And the nays, 56. Abstentions remain 1. The total votes were 116. Honorable members, as your Speaker, it is my duty that the records of the House are correctly and accurately captured and reported at all times. You will note that the error of the teller, which was unintentional, does not affect the ultimate results of the division, as the House indeed passed the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the whole House, and thereafter passed the motion for third reading of the bill. As a result of that fact, the Hansard records of the House and the vote and proceeding always contains the list of members voting ayes and nays and abstentions in any division. I have directed the Clerk of the National Assembly to circulate the experts of the Hansard record indicating how members voting. Being a bill concerning the county governments, the bill will be forwarded to the Senate for consideration. In conclusion, honorable members, and pursuant to Standing Order 75, I wish to report the above matter to the House and direct that the necessary corrections be made to the records of the House. The House is thus accordingly informed. I thank you, honorable members. What is your point of order, honorable Leader of Majority?
Speaker, first I want to thank you for opening the service and, and confirming the right results. But Mr. Speaker, just before we went on long recess, these systems were upgraded. And according to the information I have, 50 million Kenya shillings were used to upgrade the system. So, Speaker, it is very, very unfortunate that it is getting even worse. And I think this must be heard clearly and loud, the ICT department and the office of the... So, Mr. Speaker, we cannot be the ones oversighting other agencies in government, and we can't oversight our own ICT. Speaker, I think the ICT director or manager in this House must be indicted. And I think you need to pick it and say that never again will we vote manually when we have these systems in place, Mr. Speaker. Yeah.
Okay, we cannot spend 50 million without...
Otiende Amolo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I acknowledge and thank you for the correction as communicated. But, Mr. Speaker, I rise under Standing Order number 74. Mr. Speaker, under Standing Order number 74, if after a roll call there is confusion or error occurring in the course of a roll call voting.
Kende, please start again because I must follow you.
Sorry. Mr. Speaker, I had started by thanking you for that correction, but I said I rise under Standing Order number 74. Under that standing order, Mr. Speaker, if after a roll call voting there is confusion or error occurring in the course of a roll call voting concerning the numbers, which cannot otherwise be corrected, the Speaker shall direct the House to proceed to another roll call vote. Mr. Speaker, now that it has been acknowledged that there was a mistake, and it is a fundamental mistake of 10 votes of non-existent members, Mr. Speaker, isn't it in order to follow Standing Order number 74 and proceed to another roll call vote, rather than entertain such grave errors? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. I want to agree with you absolutely. First, let me agree with the leader of majority that, you know, when the system is upgraded, it is supposed to make it easier for Parliament to transact its business. And really, we took a lot of time yesterday for reasons that were a result of faulty systems. I am told they have rectified it to an extent, but we want to ask that that kind of an error should not occur again. And secondly, I want to again agree with Honorable Otiende Amolo. I agree with you totally. And I've read these particular standing orders and I understand it fully. First, before even I make that final decision, it is important for you to note that it is the Speaker on his own motion. We could as well have kept quiet about it. Remember, you had your own tellers here. You appointed Honorable Abdul Swamad Nasir, and you also appointed, the eyes appointed Honorable Dr. Pukose. Now, they were the first stop shop to make sure that the results were counted properly. But of course, we are all human. And when this did not happen, we have found it fit to inform the House so that the records are clear and correct. Now, I agree with you, if there was complete confusion and error, it would have been the best thing to call a roll call vote again. But this one is one which is covered by the same Article 74 that can otherwise be corrected, and indeed it has been corrected. Now, the confirmation of vote is 59 and 56. It has been corrected. If there was confusion in such a way that we could not correct, for sure, Honorable Otiende Amolo, I would have asked you to go again back to the roll call voting. But again, the difficulty that I find myself is there are members who are here today and were not here yesterday. The decision was supposed to have been made at that point in time. Now, systems can change. In fact, the vote can change, and it would be very unfair if I went back to roll call voting. Now, take it in good faith that we announce it. If I had, for example, discovered that the vote were different, that the vote who voted nay were 56, and the ones who voted, the ones who voted aye were 59. No, the ones who voted no, be 59, and ayes 56. I would actually have overturned the ruling. Now, having corrected this, I think there should be no major issue. It is just in good faith, and members should notice that we are able to pick some of the errors that we have done. And let's not take unnecessary time on this. It is a matter that I have ruled. The position will remain the same. The position will remain the same. If you look at, and you know, I have a lot of respect for Honorable Otiende Amolo. I know whenever he raises issues, there are issues that touch on legal issues, and he's a very good member at that. But I'm sure if he looks at that particular standing order, you'll discover that we have already corrected it, and it is perfect and fine. So let's not take too much time on it. It was just a matter of information. It was just a matter of information. But the verdict remained as you made yourselves. Remember, there are even members, a member who abstained. And he still confirms that he actually abstained. So let's proceed and do the business of the work. And by the way, we have a very long afternoon. We need to really work and move fast. So let's go to the next. Let's go to the next order. And there was also another communication I should have made. Should it come, I will still proceed to make it. But so, to save the time of the House, let's proceed to the next order.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
The leader of majority party, now the leader of the minority, the majority whip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the leader of majority, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, September 25th, 2019 afternoon sitting. One, the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Kisumu National Polytechnic for the year ended 30th June 2017 and the certificates therein. Two, the reports of the Auditor General of the financial statements in respect of the following institutions for the year ended 30th June 2018 and the certificates therein. Kenya National Highways Authority, Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, Numerical Machines Complex Limited, Brand Kenya Board, Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute, and Kenya Rural Roads Authority. Report number 3 is the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements in respect of the following constituencies for the year ended 30th June 2018 and the certificates therein. Homa Bay Town, Diwa, Suba North, and Kisumu West. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. So we go to, is it Honorable Ngirishi? Yes, Honorable Ngirishi, I think you have a document to lay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, September 25th of 2019. Report of Kenya's participation in the 63rd session of the Commission on the Status of Women, CSW 63, held at United Nations headquarters, New York on 11th March to 22nd March 2019. Thank you.
Very well. And before we go to the next order, let me recognize in the public gallery students from St. Teresa's Secondary School, Gatanga constituency of Muranga County, who are in the house with us today to follow proceedings. Next order. Oh, we also have the chair defense. No, the chair implementation, you have a document to lay? Yes, you do, I think. So let's do the defense and come to implementation.
Mr. Speaker, the report for Departmental Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations on the capstone course on the national security and strategy conducted by the National Defense College and Center for Parliamentary Studies and Training in the National Defense College, Karen, Nairobi, on 26th and 30th August. I read the paper, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. The Chair Implementation Committee, Honorable Kenta.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, September 25th, 2019. Report of the Select Committee on Implementation on the status of the resolution of the House made on the 6th of June.
Kamagogo Coffee Factory, Diara Coffee Factory, Kiriaini Market, and Gakira Market. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That one will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing. Next is the member for Lagdera, Honorable Gerane Mohammed Hire, or Mohammed Haya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That name is pronounced as Hire, not Haya. Thank you. I wish to ask question number 418 of 2019 to the Cabinet Secretary for Energy. Question number 1. What measures is the ministry taking to solve the recurring power outages in Modogashe Town, Lagdera constituency? Question number 2. Are there plans to compensate the Modogashe business community for the losses suffered as a result of the said power outages? Question number 3. Are there plans to connect the entire Lagdera constituency to the national grid? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That question by Honorable Haya will be answered, replied to before the Departmental Committee on Energy. Or did you say Hire? Okay. Next is the member for Baringo Central, Honorable Joshua Chebiegon Kandie.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to ask question number 419 of 2019. And this question goes to the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, and Urban Development. Question number 1. What factors are taken into consideration in determining parking fees to be charged at the Eldoret Airport? Question number 2. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide details of the company or agency charged with the management of parking at the said airport, including its directorship? Question number 3. What would the minister consider putting in place measures to ensure that parking fees charged at airports in the country are standardized and regulated accordingly? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
That one by Honorable Kandie will be replied to before the Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing again. So before, I will give an opportunity to Honorable Kenta to move a notice of motion, which he did not earlier. But first, let me hear what the majority whip has to say, because it is in this particular order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if my memory serves me right, the reason why we introduced the question time is to reduce the time taken by ministers to...
What is it that you are saying, Honorable?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I hope, Honorable...
I want to give you maximum concentration. So let's hear what you have to say.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, what I was saying was that the reason why we introduced question time, and there is a lot of consultation here, Honorable Speaker, if you could help me manage that. Leader, please, I'm on the floor. Sorry. Consultation is a bit too high. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You know,
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Ashiali, that's not your business. You know you are a whip. But once you are here, there is the person in charge. So if there is an issue, you will ask me, and then I will order members to, give you the attention. So proceed.
My apologies, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise on a point of order. And like I was saying, the reason why we introduced question time in the order, in the standing orders, is because we wanted to receive immediate response from cabinet secretaries, Honorable Speaker. And unfortunately, members will agree with me that this system is not working, Honorable Speaker, because, Honorable Speaker, on 4th of July, I rose in my place to ask the Minister for the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Agriculture on the ownership of nucleus land that is purportedly owned by Mumia's sugar company. Honorable Speaker, if you were following yesterday's news, you will be told that Kenya Commercial Bank has now put Mumias under receivership. Honorable Speaker, I am wondering what would happen then, because according to the landowners of Mumias, where I am the MP, we know that the land that Mumias Sugar Company was farming on was land that was leased by farm owners, the owners of the land. And
you see, the
up to now,
the
Honorable
only small
Speaker,
problem I have with you, Honorable Ashiali, is that you seem to be asking the question a second time. I would be happy if there is a complaint you have, because number one, you've said the system is not working. I disagree with you, it is working. If you have a specific issue that you want resolved, for example, that it has not been answered, you should just put it in that manner. So
Speaker, probably I feel the pain that my brother, the Honorable Asheli, is experiencing now because of the Mumias matter that has been alive for a long
if
time.
you feel that
I
pain,
think what has happened and what might help him is the fact that new facts have arisen by the recent appointment of receivers by KCB. So probably what he might want to do is to bring a fresh question in light of these new factors so that this can now be responded to as a separate question from what he had earlier asked. Probably that would assist him.
well, you say you feel the pain of Honorable Ashali. Probably yes, but then you need to take the same medication. And that is, you know, Honorable Ashali is the owner of this question. And if he feels that the best way to handle this matter is to expedite that one, that will be fine. And by the way, he can still have that question answered, and then he can ask another question in a different way to accommodate now the specific issues that you are raising. But otherwise, Honorable Ashali, he satisfied himself, Honorable Mulele. Yes. What is it again, Honorable Leader? This is a matter that we don't want to take too much time.
No, I'm not sharing the pain. I'm not sharing the pain with Honorable Ashali because I don't grow sugarcane. I farm camels. But Mr. Speaker, Honorable Ashali and Honorable Mulele, they are introducing, and you're a lawyer, he's a lawyer, they're introducing new evidence to a matter which is already before the House. And the best thing they need to do is to go back to the registry and file that they want to introduce new matter. So I really ask Honorable Ashali now to use the private member's position so that he can file a question today, and then next Tuesday, we will make sure that it's in the order paper, and then that matter of whether the receivership also is part of the land that belongs to the people of Mumias will be considered. It's a serious matter. So I think next week, Tuesday, we can read that, and then you direct that the minister or whoever comes on Wednesday.
That is okay, but still the principle is that there should always be response in reasonably good time. I believe that is what Honorable Ashali is saying, and that is what I want to pursue. Let us deal with these two things separately. If Honorable Ashali wants to ask a different question, he will do it. But if he is satisfied that we can finalize this one, the best thing is for us to expedite, and it should be the general rule that whenever questions are answered, they are, finalized in good time. That would be the good one. Okay. So let's have and next time, please let us know in good time. I'm allowing you to belatedly move your notice of motion, and let it be quick, Honorable Kenta.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In fact, the notice of motion was already with the clerk there. So, Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That this House adopt the report of the Select Committee on Implementation on the status of the resolution of the House made on the 6th of June 2019 regarding the approval of Mrs. Mwende Mwinzi for appointment as the Kenyan Ambassador to Seoul, South Korea, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, September 25th, 2019. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. So, honorable members, we'll now move to the next order. And after that, just before we go to the committee of the whole House, I'll have a statement to give. No, I'll have a communication to make, sorry. A communication to make. So can we please move to the next order?
Order number 8, procedural motion, extension of sitting time.
Who is the mover of that particular motion? Is it the leader majority? Yes. Let's have you moving it.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move this procedural motion that pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 30, subsection 3A, this House orders that should the regular time for adjournment of the House be reached before conclusion of business appearing under order number 9 on today's order paper, the sitting of the House shall stand extended until the conclusion of the said business. So, Speaker, that business is order number 9, which is the finance bill. And the finance bill, Mr. Speaker, has a timeline that we must pass before 30th of September. And we are starting straight away after this procedural motion, if it's approved, so that if we might need a 30 minutes, 7:30 or 8 o'clock, then we can finish it. So tomorrow, we can get time to put it on the question to be put in the afternoon, because 30th is on Monday, according to the calendar, and we will have not covered the deadline. So I really want the House to agree with me. So we rarely use this provision, but we use it where we feel we have a bill that has timeline. So I beg to move and ask Honorable Chris Wamalwa to second.
Honorable Dr. Wamalwa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second, and as Majority Leader has clearly put it, you know, finance bill plays a critical role because it sets out measures of raising revenue that will fund the budget. So it's indeed important that we do this for purposes of supplying ourselves within the time frame. Thank you, and I second.
And I propose the question, which is at the House, which is pursuant to Standing Order 33. This House orders that should the regular time for adjournment of the House be reached before conclusion of business appearing as order number 9 on today's order paper, the sitting of the House shall be extended until conclusion of the said business. I put the question, which is that pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 33A, this House orders that should the regular time for adjournment of the House be reached before conclusion of business appearing as order number 9 on today's order paper, sitting of the House shall be extended until the conclusion of the said business. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And then, honorable members, I will come back before we go to the next order. I would like to give a communication on guidance on non-compliance of certain proposed amendments to the Finance Bill 2019 with provisions of Article 114 of the Constitution and Standing Order 133. Honorable members, this communication relates to business appearing as order number 9 in today's order paper, Wednesday, September 25th, 2019, being Committee of the Whole House on the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 51 of 2019. As you may have observed, the notices annexed to today's order paper contains several amendments that have been proposed to the said bill, both by the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning, which has sponsored the bill, and individual members. Before the House proceeds with the Committee of the Whole House, I wish to provide guidance relating to consideration of the proposed amendments to the Committee of the Whole House. Honorable members, as you are aware, it is now established practice under the new Constitution that considering any matter that may occasion financial implication on public funds, the House is bound by provisions of Article 114.2 of the Constitution. For clarity, Article 142.2 of the Constitution provides as follows. If, in the opinion of the Speaker of the National Assembly, a motion makes provisions for a matter listed in... Okay, and 3, honorable members, the member for Kiambu, Honorable Jude Jomo, proposed to amend the clause 18A of the bill by inserting a new paragraph 111 to make the provisions on sport equipment imported or purchased by educational institutions. I am of the considered opinion that the said proposed amendments make provisions to matters listed in the definition of a money bill, and is therefore subject to provisions of Article 114 of the Constitution and Standing Order 114, which may be considered upon recommendations of the relevant committee. Therefore, the proposals to amend Clause 18A of the bill shall not be considered by the Committee of the Whole House, and the member is also at liberty to introduce a separate bill on matter in the manner contemplated in Standing Order 114, whereby proposals would go through, among other processes, public participation. The Honorable Member for Gatundu South, Honorable Moses Kuria, has proposed to insert new Clause 8A immediately after Clause 8 of the bill relating to the Income Tax Act to provide for a manner of investing deposits in a registered home ownership investment plan and the definition of an approved institution. He intimates that the Ownership Savings Plan, HOSP, guideline on the recognized investment guidelines as per the Central Bank of Kenya specification and therefore seeks to include the investment guidelines provided by the Capital Market Authority in addition to prudential guidelines issued by the CBK to regulate investment of deposits under a registered HOSP, so that the investor has a choice to either save through a bank or an investment savings product. I am of the opinion that the import of the amendment proposed by the member for Gatundu South to insert the new clause 8A makes provisions that do not expand the scope of the bill beyond its subject as provisions relating to Standing Order 133. Accordingly, the Committee of the Whole House shall proceed to consider that particular amendment. Okay? Now, finally, the member for Molo, Honorable Kuria Kimani, has proposed to delete clause 21 of the and paragraph B of clause 23 of the bill regarding to Excise Duty Act 2015, and I thank you. So we move to the next order.
Order number 9, Committee of the Whole House.
Order, members. Order, members. Honorable members, we are in the Committee of the Whole House to consider the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 51 of 2019. Order, order, order. The members who are consulting, we have a consultation room. And the members who are leaving the chamber, please do so. We must get into business.
Clause 2.
All right, members, I propose a question, which is a clause 2, be part of the bill. Chairman Finance, we have an amendment by the Chairman Finance. Please move your amendment.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 2 be amended as per the order paper. Madam Chair, this amendment is for the purpose of redrafting to take the standard of standard style of cross-referencing definitions. So there is no major amendment there. There is no substantive change, but just to ensure that it is redrafted in the proper manner.
I propose a question which is as clause 2 be amended as proposed by Honorable Limo. I see no interest in this, and I move to put the question, which is a clause 2 be amended as proposed by Honorable Limo. Will as many as of the opinion say aye? As many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question to the clause, which is a clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of the opinion say aye? As many as the contrary opinion say nay? Members, the ayes have it.
Clause 3.
I propose a question, which is a clause 3 be part of the bill. Members, we have an amendment again by Honorable Limo. Please move your amendment.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 3 be amended as per the order paper. This is a drafting cleanup again, the words which are being proposed to be deleted, income chargeable to tax includes, has already been used in the opening statement in that section. So we are proposing to delete it to make it more clearer and more cleaner.
Honorable Limo, did you move the two paragraphs together so that I can propose them together? Chair, Honorable Limo? Yes. You have A and me. Did you move both A and B for purposes of record?
Okay, yes, let me move, I moved A, and in B, I propose that the subclause B be amended as per the order paper. This is to allow the cabinet secretary to come up with the guidelines on how the new market, which has been introduced in the bill by the name digital market, will be implemented, because it's a new term. So this B will allow the cabinet secretary to come up with guidelines on how this digital market will be operated in Kenya, given that the stakeholders quoted that in South Africa, where it is working very well, the cabinet secretary is issuing the guidelines to make it more clearer to the stakeholders and the Kenyans in general.
Very well. Having moved A and me, honourable members, I propose a question, which is that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the chair. That is Honourable Limo. Honourable member for Garissa Township, Leader Majority, you want to speak to this?
Yes, I think, Madam Chair, is important. I don't want to go into A, but B, this is a new terminology, that will touch taxation on digital platforms. So, and currently we don't have regulations. So I really want to thank the chair and the committee for introducing B to say that the minister must bring regulations on how this digital platform in terms of taxation will be handled going forward.
Very well. The member for Marakwet West, Honorable Kisang Kipkemoi.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I also stand to support, because in the past we have been doing a lot of digital business, but the KRA didn't have an opportunity to tax because there were no policies and regulations in place to allow them to tax. So basically, this is a good way, this is the right way to go, so that at least we can enhance our revenue collection.
Expertise, Honorable Musimba, member for West, Kibwezi.
Yeah, I stand to also echo my voice to the same. I commend the committee for having addressed the digital marketplace ended up being an ocean that you cannot navigate, because the entire economy is moving towards digital. As such, proper regulations need to be put into place so that then you don't have hits and misses towards the wrong direction. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Let me have the last one. Honorable Osoti. Yes, a nice seat person. Honorable Osoti.
Mr. Speaker, I support, Madam Speaker, I support that. But I think going forward, we need a substantive piece of legislation on digital market. I know at the moment the Committee on ICT is looking at the data protection bill. I think some aspects of the data protection bill has to take into cognizance the digital market, management of data around digital market. But digital market is such an important issue, it cannot be, in the long term, be handled through regulation. We need a substantive law moving forward.
Very well. Then you should not raise your hand. Honorable Dongi, you know the procedure. Let me give you the floor, but you don't raise hands. You can.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support. Even as I do that, Madam Speaker, digital market is an extension of the stock market. And we all know the stock market, how it works. If we don't put measures in place and the laws which are going to protect the investor, Madam Speaker, we leave the investor exposed. And I'm grateful that we have started. At least it starts in the right direction. But we have to be sure that we are putting the laws in place to ensure that the poor investor from upcountry who has no capacity to understand the intricacies involved in the stock market is protected so that they don't lose their hard earned income, Madam Speaker.
Oh,
Thank you.
Very well. Members, and I now move to put the question, which is at clause 3, be amended as proposed by the Chair, Honorable Limo. Will as many as of the opinion say aye? And as many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the question to the clause, which is at clause 3, as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of the opinion say aye? And as many as the contrary opinion say nay? Members, the ayes have it. Next.
Clauses 4 and 5.
I propose a question which is the clauses 4 and 5 be part of the bill. Members, we have no amendments to this, and I therefore move to put the question, which is the clauses 4 and 5 be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay. Order, members. Order, order. Deputy Speaker, the leader of majority, you know, he has a role to play. Thank you. And I know the Deputy Speaker was instructing the leader of majority to participate in the debate. Members, for purposes of record, I put the question to clauses 4 and 5, which is that clauses 4 and 5 be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. Next.
Clause 6.
I propose the question, which is that clause 6 be part of the bill. Amendment by the Chair. Please move the amendment.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 6 be amended as per the order paper. The purpose of this deletion, Madam Speaker, is that the bill is proposing to introduce taxes on small businesses, including cleaning and fumigation, catering services, security, and others, which in our opinion, they are startup businesses, they are very small, and we considered what this bill was attempting to raise. We were of the opinion that it's not significant, and we could take it into account in another amendment, which we will be moving later without anticipating debate, Madam Chair. So we propose to delete, because these are small businesses which are majorly done by youth and women and people with disability in our villages, in our country. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I propose that this clause be deleted.
Very well. I propose a question, which is that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the Chair. That is Honorable Limo. Yes, Leader of Majority.
Chair, I think the reason given by the chairman, I don't agree with him, because women and disabled people must pay tax. And the youth must pay tax. I mean, if we go that route, then there are many people who will become disabled. So they evade paying taxes. But I think where I agree with the chair is that this withholding tax, particularly on, cleaners, cleaning services, security services, fumigation services. These are the small SMEs which are coming up. And I think I agree with the committee, because the finance bill, we must balance. And its business is to the budget that we have passed with the whole. So the chair has convinced me that there's another place where he's going to increase taxation, so it balances. So I agree with him and I support, so that Madam Chair, I remember when we nominated 001, and we got an opportunity so that he can, for medication, he said, I want to stay like this, because this is how I got become a member of parliament. So, and he pays taxes.
Leader, address the amendment.
And please, next time, tell him not to bring a Kothe to the parliament in that kind of address. Parliament is a distant place. Yeah, some of us, we have daughters, we have sons. We don't want a Kothe type in this house. So 001 must stop.
Honorable Amalwa.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I rise, of course, to support the Chair of Finance. But the key objective of this is not necessarily start-up business, because we have some people who have been in this business, whether it's fumigation, whether it's catering, for years. Start-up business is a business which has just maybe 1 or 2 or 3 years. I think the objective here is, in terms of the principle of materiality, the amount of money that you are likely to realize from this is going to be a little bit insignificant. And also when you look in terms of value terms, these are small things that is easily taken over by maybe the people who have just cleared college for purposes of employment and sustainability. So I do support Madam Chair. Thank you.
Chair Budget.
Thank you, Chair. I want to support the amendment by the Chair Finance. And as I mentioned during the Honorable Chair, many of these services, if you read the import of that amendment, Honorable Speaker, they are even taxing transportation of goods, excluding air transport services. That means even the mkokoteni and donkey, people who ferry goods in town using donkey carts and mkokotenis and wheelbarrows and goods carts would be taxed. But I'm happy that the Chair and the Committee for Finance, besides doing away with this tax, as the Leader of Majority has mentioned, he will be introducing other amendments that are compensating for what he has taken away from here. And that is a spirit, Honorable Speaker, we want to encourage. That if you do away with the tax element that was to bring revenue, propose an element that will also bring in revenue. And I want to thank the Chair of Finance for that very good initiative.
Let me give the Honorable Rasso Hali, Member for Sako.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I am opposed to this amendment and very opposed to it because we are making a finance bill. When you go through this bill, there are many loopholes that are likely to come about. What the Chair has given us actually is not compelling enough reasons as to why he has removed it. In the growing of the tax bracket, the base must grow so that even those of us who almost believe that we are the middle or towards the top, then taxation on us must come down. So for that reason, I believe I am opposed to it because these are the growing areas in the economy where there is a lot of money that actually goes into those services. That is why what the Chair has given is not compelling, and I am opposed to it.
Very well. Allow me put the proposed amendment to the vote. Honourable members, I put the question, which is that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the Chair. As many as are of the opinion say aye. As many as contrary opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it. I put the question to the clause, which is that clause 6, as amended, be part of the bill. As many as are of the opinion say aye. And as many as are contrary opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it. Next clause.
Clauses 7 and 8.
I propose the question, which is that clauses 7 and 8 be part of the bill. Honourable members, we have no amendments to these two clauses, and I therefore move to put the question, which is that clauses 7 and 8 be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye. As many as the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 9.
I propose the question, which is that clause 9 be part of the bill. Chairperson, move the amendment.
Madam Chair, I propose that clause 9 of the bill be amended by deleting paragraph A. Or this, Madam Chair, is on capital gain tax. Capital gain tax was introduced not far from now, and the proposal to drastically increase from 5% to 12.5% will work in a negative manner in the Big Four proposal to build and construct affordable housing. And therefore, Madam Chair, we are proposing to delete it, and we will be moving another amendment to compensate for the tax which was being raised here. Madam Speaker, I propose that this clause be deleted.
Very well, members, I propose a question, which is that clause 9 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Let me have the member for Kajiado North.
Madam Chair, I want to support that particular part and say
this was a very high increase. They were increasing from 5% to 12.5%, which I think could have discouraged investors. I support that amendment.
You support. The member for Kimilili, Honorable Mutua Barasa.
Madam Chair, I support this amendment by the Chair of Finance Committee. It's a good amendment that is going to support this country move forward economically, because this country is developed by investors. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, I support.
Member for Garissa Township.
Madam Chair, I stand to oppose, and I'm shocked the Chairman of Finance is talking of the Big Four agenda. The people who brought this increment is the National Treasury, the center where the Big Four agenda is. And Madam Chair, this is about the differences, the legal fees, the brokerage, the commission agents. Mr. Speaker, this House must raise revenue so that will help us decrease the debt we are borrowing. And this is going to affect the big landowners. Yeah, mainly. Chair, so I really want the chairman to agree with the National Treasury that this capital gain tax be moved from 5% to 12.5%. Madam Chair, you know the anti-corruption chairman committee, I don't know, there's an amorphous. He's speaking when I'm on the floor.
Ignore anybody else. Just proceed.
Yes, it should be moved. And I really want to urge that, Chair, unless he convinces us that that increment from 5% to 12%, that gap in revenue, how he's going to feel as we continue, this finance bill must balance. And you remember last year when we removed the fuel, it had to affect our CDF. So you guys, members, you have to be very careful, because he can deny government revenue, and then where it cannot balance, we will be told, can we reduce our CDF? So today we are very careful. Anywhere where you disagree. So, and it's not ours, it's from our constituencies. It's for our constituency, which is very important. So we don't want to have a gap that will affect us, whatever money is going to our. So the chair must tell the House that difference from 5% to 12.5%, where is he going to get the money from?
Member,
but I oppose.
Thank you, on record. Member for Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I stand to support the proposed amendments by the Chair of the Finance Committee, and I stand to say so on two accounts. While it might be desirable to increase the capital gains tax from 5 to 12%, I think this is at the wrong time. The real estate market, especially the housing market, is doing so badly so that increasing the taxes will reduce housing absorption and housing purchase. Secondly, Honorable Chair, in a country where we don't account for inflation, indexation, increasing the rate of capital gains tax from 12 to 5 to 12%, and including 8% inflation, you are essentially taxing at 20% capital gains tax. There could be a better way of raising revenue, but rather than driving the real estate market into the underground market. Honorable Chair, I support the amendments. Thank you.
Let me hear the father of the house. That is Honorable Ngwenyi. He's the father of the house. He's the longest serving.
Thanks, Madam.
The longest serving member, Honorable Ngwenyi.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I rise to support the amendment proposed by the Chairman of Finance Committee. Madam Chair, the proposal being made by the Treasury is contradicting the four big agenda of the government. We want to encourage people to buy property, to buy houses, and yet we want to increase the taxes for people to buy the properties. Madam Chair, as you know, we live in this country. My boss here has said that, oh, we must raise money to pay debts. This House has failed in not establishing a threshold as to how much tax, how much debt should this country incur. We cannot do that by taking money out of our people, the people we represent in this House, out of our people, so that they can pay more to pay debts, some of which we don't know how they have been used. Maybe they have been used in the Kimwal. What do you say the other place was? And others. So what I was saying is that let us support this proposal made, this amendment made by the chairman.
Thank you. Let me have the last one, the member for Kilifi North, before I put the proposed amendment to a vote. The member for Kilifi North, Honorable Baya, yeah. Use the next mic.
Oh, the mic, next mic. Thank you very much. I would like to support the reduction because, as I said, the capital gain tax in this country, if it's very high, then you find that the property market comes down. And that if we bring it down, we have a bigger expansion. There are more people who will go into the real estate business, and therefore we'll have more people paying the capital gain tax. If we take it up, it means therefore there'll be fewer people, and therefore you're reducing the basket and the bracket, and therefore you have less people paying tax. But it's important that we expand the bracket for taxation by having it lower and getting more people to pay the tax. Thank you very much.
With that debate having arisen, honourable members, I put the question, which is at clause 9, be amended as proposed by the Honourable Limo. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to the clause which is at clause 9 as amended be part of the bill. Honourable members, will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 10.
I propose a question which is a clause 10 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, please move your amendment.
Madam Chair, I propose that clause 10 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment, Madam Chair, is the same as what I had moved earlier. It is touching on taxation of small businesses, including cleaning and fumigation, catering, etc., which we had moved.
I propose a question, honourable members, which is at clause 10, be amended as proposed by Honourable Limo. Honourable Chris Wamalwa, what is out of order?
Madam Chair, when you look at the order paper and the way the clauses are moving, we've jumped from 7, we've gone to 9, and as you can see, there's an 8.
Very well. Very
well.
well.
The new clauses, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Honourable Chris Amola, we did 7 and 8. We're on record that we didn't have amendments to this. So there's nothing out of order. So I'd propose a question. So, and Honourable Tongi.
Madam Chair, whereas I support the amendment, but I wanted to put a caution that, Madam Speaker, it's not just enough to say that security services, cleaning and fumigation services, catering services, etc., are meant for small people. Madam Speaker, we have big companies which are doing this kind of business. I would be more comfortable, Madam Speaker, if we can put an amount, a threshold, say so much. Beyond that much, we then be able to tax. Because if we leave it open-ended, Madam Speaker, then we are actually going to encourage underworld market, where everybody else can register his business in the name of these small ones and then run away with the taxes. I would be comfortable if that can be amended in the future, but for now, Madam Speaker, I support.
You support. Members, I put a question, which is a clause 10, be amended as proposed by Honourable Joseph Limo. As many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. I put the question to the clause, which is a clause 10, as amended be part of the bill. Remember, will as many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 11.
I propose a question, which is that clause 11 be part of the bill. Members, we have no amendment to clause 11, and I therefore move to put the question, which is that clause 11 be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 12.
I propose a question which is a clause 12 be part of the bill. We have an amendment by Honorable Limo.
Yes, Madam Chair, I propose that clause 12 be amended as per the order paper. The justification for this, Madam Speaker, is that under subclause 59, it is actually to allow that the contributors to the affordable housing scheme who are first-time owners will be excluded from paying income tax, so that it encourages people to enroll in this scheme. And under 60, the intention here is to separate the exemption which has already been provided on bonds to show green bonds separately. This is to encourage investments on green bonds which are going to be used in green projects which are friendly to the environment.
I propose a question, having the chair moving the two paragraphs together, Honourable members. I propose a question which is at clause 12 be amended as proposed by Honourable Joseph Limo. I move to put the question which is at clause 12 be amended as proposed by Honourable Joseph Limo. The chair will, as many as of this say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I move to put the question to the clause which is at clause 12 as amended be part of the bill. Honourable members will, as many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 13.
I propose the question which is at clause 13 be part of the bill. Honourable Limo, Chair, you have an amendment to this, please. Can you move?
Madam Chair, I propose that clause 13 be amended as per the order paper. Madam Chair, this is this clause also touches on the same services which we had already moved to exclude services such as cleaning and fumigation and catering and the rest from paying tax. So it is the same, but touching on different aspects on the same businesses. So.
Very well. Members, I propose a question which is at clause 13 be amended as proposed by the chair. I move to put the question which is at clause 13 be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. I move to put the question which is at clause 13 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 14.
I propose a question which is at clause 14 be part of the bill. We have no amendment to the 14, and I therefore move to put the question which is at clause 14 be part of the bill. Remember, as many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. Honourable members, as you are aware, the finance bill is a statute law bill, and now that we are moving from the Income Tax Act, before we go to the Value Added Tax Act, we will deal with the new clauses to the Income Tax Act.
New clause 7A.
I propose a question which is that new clause 7A be part of the bill. Honourable Limo, you are moving the new clause on the second reading.
Yes, Madam Chair, I propose that new clause 7A be now read the second time. Madam Chair, this amendment on new clause is on affordable housing scheme, which is intended to allow for investors under the affordable housing scheme to be exempt from provisions of paragraph J, which restricts the amount of borrowing against revenue reserves, which is popularly known as thin capitalization. What it means is that when an investor is being, when a player has been allowed to invest in these affordable housing schemes, they will be excluded from the restriction of borrowing beyond a certain limit on their capital, because of the heavy investment which is expected under housing scheme.
Very well. With that, honourable members, I propose a question, which is that new clause 7A be now read a second time. I put the question, which is that new clause 7A be now read a second time. As many as have the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. I move to put the question, which a new clause 7A be part of the bill. As many as have the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, members, the ayes have it.
New clause 8A.
Members, we have, I proposed a question. Before I propose a question, we have a new clause 8A. I propose a question, which is a new clause 8A be part of the bill. Members, we have proposed amendments to new clause 8A, one by Honorable Moses Kuria, and the other one is by Honorable Joseph Limo. We will start with the proposed amendment by the Honorable Moses Kuria. If it fails, then let's. The one, yeah, Honorable Member Kuria, your amendment incorporates limos, so
Yes.
it will have an effect on Honorable Limos.
Chair, I want to move.
Yes.
Section
Honorable,
8A,
yes.
as outlined in the order paper. And
No, Honorable, let me give you some guidance. Honorable Moses Kuria, we are moving new clause 8A and you are moving it for second reading. That new clause 8A be now read a second time.
Chair, I want to move that section 8A be read a second time. New clause 8A be read for a second time.
Yes, now you can give us the import to that.
Chair, the import of this amendment is to ensure that the benefits that this House gave to homeowners under the homeowners savings plan, which was by that time restricted only to banks, now be expanded to include other investments, primarily those ones licensed under the Capital Markets Act. The Capital Markets Act has got other instruments for savings, which are becoming very popular, collective investment schemes, and money market schemes, and savings into those schemes ought to be included for the benefits as much as savings into bank instruments. You know the return on savings from banks is very low, and investors are looking for returns in other capital market instruments, and it's only right and fair that those instruments also be accorded the same advantages. I beg to move.
Very well. I propose a question, which is that new clause 8A be now read the second time. Let me hear from the Honorable Limo.
Point of order, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I rise on standing order 133.5, which the Speaker had already ruled on, This amendment by Honorable Moses Kuria, the Speaker earlier had already ruled that the only amendments which will be allowed are these ones by the Chair of Finance and that of the Majority Leader. And it is indicated here very clearly.
Honorable Chairperson Limo, we have a record of the Speaker's ruling, and I have it. So the Speaker's ruling were to the effect that the only amendment from the members apart from the Leader of Majority that was allowed was the amendment of Honorable Moses Kuria. So it is in order. To move his amendment. Honorable members of the House, we stand advised by the communication from the Deputy Speaker. So I welcome debate on the proposed amendment by Honorable Moses Kuria, which is in order. Honorable Leader of Majority.
I think I support Honorable Moses Kuria because what he's only doing is he's opening up to other players in this housing scheme. And because he is a fake presidential candidate, and he doesn't have the powers to use the veto power under 115, it's only Uhuru Kenyatta who can use, and he's rarely seen here, I think because he has brought a very good amendment, and not like Honorable Atandi and the rest, I beg to support, and this is good for those who want to build housing, that not only few. No, they were not in tandem with the law, Article 114. So you read the way Moses does. Moses does research. And he's a member of the Budget Committee, so I support, and I think going forward, maybe one day, 50 years, 20, 100 years to come, he might become the president and use that power.
The member for Kajiado North.
Thank you, Chair. While I support Moses Kuria for that amendment, I thought it could have gone through maybe the Finance Committee so that it can be exposed to citizen participation, because I tend to think this is a key thing. Which one? I'm not a member of committee. No.
Let's avoid arguments, please. Honorable Manche.
That's what I thought.
Please debate on the proposed amendment by Kuria. The member for, Honorable member for Funyula.
Honorable Chair, do I proceed or you want to
You may proceed.
Okay, thank you.
Members. Order, members.
I stand to support the amendment. Those of us in the housing sector know that one of the greatest impediments to house ownership and the increased velocity of the housing market is lack of affordable finance. If we get any avenue that provides finance at affordable terms, we should encourage that particular avenue. I support, and I do believe this is a progressive approach, only that we hope the central bank, the insurance regulatory authority, and the related authorities will come up with progressive regulations and rules to enable effective implementation of the amendment. Thank you.
Honorable member for Kikuyu, the last one.
Honorable Chair, I want to support that amendment by Honorable Moses Kuria and also confirm to Honorable Manje. And Honorable Chair, I'm begging for your attention.
We are listening to you.
Because I was also on a point of order based on what Honorable Manje was subjecting us to. It's important, Honorable Chair, that as much as we're in the third reading, people never participate in second reading and reading of committee reports. Because the Chair of Finance is seated here. Honorable Manje is not a member of the Finance Committee. He clearly never read the report. Because if he had read the report, he would know some of these things were subjected to public participation. I only want to beg Honorable Chair that you protect those of us who spend time to read and sit in this house from some members wasting our time here.
Order. Honorable Ichungwa, you cannot purport that Honorable Manje did not read the reports. It's a house of debates, and you are not Honorable Manje. I will actually not even give you Honorable Manje because I've protected you. Order. Members, but now that you're on record, Honorable Ichungwa, now that you're on record saying Honorable Manje did not read, and you are not Honorable Manje. Honorable Manje in a statement, or do you, just because I can see you agitated? You have been mentioned, yes.
Chair, I wanted to confirm that I took that report. I had even read that report, and I participated in the public participation at KICC. So I think, I don't know why Mr. Mheshimiwa Ishongwa is so agitated. Maybe, I don't know.
Very well. It's on record that Honorable Manje read the report, and that is his self. Members, I now move to put the question, which is a new clause 8A being now read a second time. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as a contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. Honourable members, with Honourable Kuria's proposed amendment having been carried, then the proposed amendment by Honourable Limo fails. I now move to put the question, which is that new clause 8A be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Value Added Tax Act, clause 15.
Members, we are now on the Value Added Tax Act. I propose a question, which is a clause 15, be part of the bill. We have no amendments to this, and I therefore move to put the question, which is a clause 15, be part of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye. Order, members, order, order. I seek your attention. I put the question, which is a clause 15, be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, members, the ayes have it.
Clause 16.
I propose the question, which is the clause 16, be part of the bill. The chairperson, please move your amendment to clause 16.
Madam Chair, as I move this amendment, I want to be on record that, Madam Chair, you know, when the Speaker is making communication, most of the members are going around making consultations, and the ruling on Honorable Moses Kuria skipped my ear, so I have confirmed that he was allowed. Madam Chair, I want to propose that clause 16 be amended as per the order paper. Madam Chair, under paragraph A, the amendment is just to replace a registered person with any other person as already done under clause 15. It's just a redrafting issue. Under paragraph B, the amendment here is to allow the Cabinet Secretary to make it clear on how the taxation on digital marketplace will be implemented. It is the same, almost the same as what I had moved earlier, because this digital marketplace will be occurring severally in the bill.
Very well. With that, honourable members, I propose a question, which is a clause 16, be amended as proposed by Honourable Joseph Limo. I see no interest to this, and I therefore move to put the question, which is a clause 16, be amended as proposed by the Honourable Limo. As many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. I move to put the question to the clause, which is at clause 16, as amended, be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, members, the ayes have it.
Clause 17.
I propose the question, which is at clause 17, be part of the bill. Members, we have no amendment to this, and I therefore move to put the question, which is at clause 17, be part of the bill. Will as many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, members, the ayes have it.
Clause 18.
I propose the question, which is at clause 18, be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by Honourable Joseph Limo. Chair, Honourable Limo, and you can move all together. A and B together, Honourable Limo. That is on clause.
Yes, Madam Chair, I propose that clause 18 is amended as per the order paper. Under A, Madam Chair, we are concerned that some of the items which are being moved from zero rated to exempt were actually even covered under Finance Act 2018, and to maintain certainty and consistency in our taxation measures, we are proposing to delete and take it back to zero rating. Those two items under 105 and 106. And Madam Chair, under item 111 and 112, this is to bring in the goods and the materials which are exclusively for the use of construction of affordable housing to be brought into zero rating, together with musical instruments and other musical equipment imported for the purpose of being used by educational institutions entirely. Madam Speaker, I propose to move.
Very well. Members, I propose a question which is at clause 18 be amended as proposed by Honorable Limo. Let me have the Deputy Speaker. Honorable Cheboy.
Madam Speaker, this one is a member for Kuresoi North. I am a musician.
The member for, sir, the Deputy Speaker is the member representing the people of...
Yes, I sang bass, Madam Speaker. And I know the importance particularly of the second one, and that is my major concern. This one of musical instrument for school, Madam Speaker. You see, we are moving to development of talents, particularly in our schools. If we can be able to have goods imported for our students so that they can be able to nurture their talents, students, I'm not interested about the others who have capacity to do it, it would be very good for us. So, and I have attended the musical competition, particularly the last one in Nakuru recently. And the major concern of the teachers and parents is that the items that are used in those musical festivals are expensive. So I support this. I support the chair of the committee that should be zero rated. Thank you.
Very well. Contributed as the member for Kerusoi. And of course, we are happy. Let me have the member. I want a member who has not even spoken to this. Let me get Pukose. Honorable Pukose.
Honorable Chair, I want to support this amendment, and I want to thank the committee because when you zero-rate the both importation and purchase of music instruments and related for schools, and this has to be approved by the Cabinet Secretary. It means, but I would urge that the approval should be fast because at times when it goes to the Treasury for approval, it takes ages. So I would urge that this should have even gone to a further amendment, that the period for approval should be within a certain period of time so that this can be fast-tracked. Because what we've always seen is that when people are following those approvals, it takes ages. And that is very challenging.
Because for record purpose, it's not the amendment, proposed amendment, is not approval by the Cabinet Secretary.
In the second part,
it's upon recommendation.
Recommendation
yes.
By the Cabinet, approved by the Cabinet Secretary on the recommendation of the Cabinet Secretary responsible for matters relating to housing. So that can be fast-tracked, Honorable Chair.
We have priority and speak. Leader of majority.
Chair, I really want to support, even though I am not a music person, but when this year there was a National Music Festival and the talent which was shown made the government that those items are tax exempt with the recommendation of the minister so that other busybodies don't abuse it. But one thing that the Deputy Speaker did not say it, he attended that function, courtesy of my intervention, and for the first time, many people have not done it here. He rode in the Presidential Air Force One to Nakuru and back. So those of you who want to see how it feels, you can consult the Deputy Speaker so that you look for another opportunity.
Very well. The Honorable Wanyonyi.
I want to take this opportunity to thank the committee chair for bringing up this, particularly in reduction on the imported material for building, and of course the musical equipment. And I think this way, Madam Chair, will be able to improve the talent that actually this country is moving towards to, and eventually create employment for the youth. So I support.
Very well. I move to put a question, which is that clause 18 be amended as proposed by Honorable Limo. As many as are of this opinion say aye, and as many as contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put a question to the clause, which is at clause 18, as amended be part of the bill. As many as are of the opinion say aye. As many as contrary opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it.
Clause 19.
I propose the question, which is at clause 19, be part of the bill. We have an amendment. Honorable, before you move, Honorable Member for Kiambu. Yes, you, if there's nothing out, you can only contribute. Yes, Honorable Limo, please move. You know where you are. Yes, you know where you are. Honorable Member for Kiambu, you'll speak. I know you have interest in this and you'll speak to it. But you cannot be obstructed, as you put it, by the Deputy Speaker. You know where you are sat. It's labeled panel. Maybe he's assuming you are a member of the panel. Anyway, on a light note, Honorable Limo.
Madam Chair, I propose that clause 19 be amended as per the order paper. Madam Chair, the purpose of this is, if you recall what I said under clause 18, is that given that certain two items, which is 105, under 105 and 106, has been reinstated to clause 18, then we are only deleting just to make it more appropriate, and we are also making it clearer on the bill and the act respectively. Additionally, Madam Chair, we are also introducing agricultural pest control products, which is to support farmers, especially now that we are focusing on the big four on food security. We are bringing in products under zero rating to make them cheaper, because currently they are under standard rate. But the bill had taken them to go to exempt, and exempt is normally, traditionally expensive, because the suppliers will not be able to claim. Therefore, they will move that cost to the farmer. So we are taking it to the right place, which is zero rating. Madam Chair, I propose to move that this clause be amended as per the order paper.
Very well. I propose a question, which is at paragraph, that is clause 19, be amended as proposed by the Honorable Limo. Let me hear now what you have, Honorable Ichungwa.
Thank you, Chair. The reason I had sought to intervene, because, Honorable Chair, I am really in support of the amendments as proposed by the Chair and the committee, and because I do not want, but rather uncomfortable with the subsection 19, clause 19, subsection C19, as is on the bill, the one that proposes to include in the second schedule of the VAT Act the supply of denatured ethanol. Honorable Chair, I wanted to propose, maybe with your guidance, once we subject the vote to the proposals done by the Chair, and separately subsection C19. And Honorable Chair, my objection to this, Honorable Chair, the denatured ethanol, Honorable Chair, that is being proposed to be included in this schedule.
Honorable Ichungwa, are you debating 19? I just wanted to hear what you had and then.
No, I wanted first to propose that if we can pass those ones without this 19, subsection 19, clause 19, sub C, subsection 19.
Very well. Let us prosecute first the chair's proposed amendment.
The chair's honorable chair, I have said I am very much in support of them, save now for what is in the bill on that I have reservations on.
Honorable Leader of Majority. And we are prosecuting
Chair,
the
I
one
think
for the
what
woman.
Honorable Ichungwa is saying, I agree with him, whatever he wants to do. But let's be very careful how we put the question.
Yeah.
That's my main issue.
Very well. With that arising, members, I give the guidance that we are going to put the question on the paragraph A, B, as proposed by Honorable Chair. And then later, I will put the question on 19 separately. I therefore move to put the question, which is that clause 19 be amended as proposed by Honorable Limo. As many as of the opinion say aye. Aye. And as many as the contrary opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it. And members, for record purpose, Limo's, the one we have just taken a vote on it, includes paragraph 20. It includes paragraph 20. Limo, I know you're consulting that, and that's why for purpose record, yours is safe. It includes paragraph 20. Now we prosecute the paragraph 19. Honourable members, I propose the question, which is that paragraph 19 be part of clause 19. Honourable Ichungwa. Honourable member for Garissa.
Procedurally, Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, he has no amendment. So the only thing you can do, you put the question to that paragraph. He cannot contribute.
I have already proposed a question
Yeah,
on
then you put the
the
question.
19 to be part of. I just want to hear a comment. It's not. He has no amendment.
He should not talk as
He
if
has
he
no
has an
amendment.
Yeah, but
Yes.
no amendment of-
The proposed question is that paragraph 19 be part of clause 19. Your comments?
Chair, the leader of majority is quite right that I have no amendment, but I must thank you because I'm sure you wanted to give me an opportunity to convince members why we should drop this particular vote in negative, Honorable Speaker. This proposal in the Finance Bill, Honorable Speaker, speaks to denatured ethanol, which at times, and the good surgeon here will tell you, contains methanol. And you remember in 2015, I came with an amendment on alcoholic drinks. They use this methanol to do the illicit brews. And by zero rating this, it means you'll be making that ethanol, industrial ethanol, much cheaper for people to be able to use it to make those adulterated alcoholic drinks. Therefore, I want to beg members that we vote in the negative on this one.
Very well. Now I put a question, which is that paragraph 19 be part of clause 19. As many as of this opinion say aye. And as many as of contrary opinion say nay. Remember, the nays have it. Now I move to put the question, which is that clause 19, as amended, be part of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye. And as many as of contrary opinion say nay. Or members, the ayes have it. Next.
We're not going to new clauses under VAT. New clause 16A.
Members, again, as we did in the previous one, we are on new clauses under the Value Added Tax Act. I propose a question which is a new clause 16A be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment, Honorable Molimo.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 23 be part of the bill.
Honorable Limo, you are on new
Madam
clause 16A.
New clause?
16A,
Oh, sorry,
not
sorry.
23.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I think that particular new clause.
Yeah, let the chair get ready for new clause 16A.
Okay.
It is on page 2186 of the order paper.
Okay. Madam Chair, yes, it almost escaped my eye, but I have now seen it, Madam Chair, that I therefore move that new clause 16A be now read the second time. This is purely a cleanup process where we are just replacing the word "a registered person" with "any person."
Very well. I propose a question which is a new clause 16A be now read a second time. I see no interest to speak to this. I move to put the question which is a new clause 16A be now read a second time. As many as of the opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. I put the question which is that new clause 16A be part of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, members, the ayes have it.
The Excise Duty Act, clause 20.
Yeah, we are on the Excise Duty Act. Honourable members, I propose a question which is that clause 20 be part of the bill. We have no amendment to this, and I move to put the question which is that clause 20 be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye, as many as the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Clauses 21 and 22.
I propose a question which is that clauses 21 and 22 be part of the bill. We have no amendment to this, and I move to put the question which is that clauses 21 and 22 be part of the bill. Members, will as many as of the opinion say aye, as many as the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 23.
I propose a question which is that clause 23 be part of the bill. Proposed amendment, Honorable Chair.
Madam Chair, I propose that clause 23 be amended as per the order paper. Madam Chair, this clause under paragraph A and B, Madam Chair, is to raise additional revenue, and this additional revenue will go into compensating for what we had moved earlier. Madam Chair, this is clearly what I had said earlier without anticipating debate. On C, Madam Chair, is only dealing with definitions, which makes it clear that other fees, which in popularly being used by financial institutions, is being made to become clear, because it has been having ambiguity on what other fees is all about.
Very well. With that, honourable members, I propose a question which is that clause 23 be amended as proposed by Honourable Limo. Let me have the member for Kiambu. You know, I didn't know that he has another name. I'm used to Jude Jomo now. I can see Honourable Kangede.
Madam Speaker, I was not contributing to this. I was contributing to the other one.
Then leader of majority, Honourable Loanka. Now I know your full.
Madam Chair, you know the honourable member for Kiambu is an interested party in this matter. Because we are he's a consumer, So he doesn't want his clients and friends to see. But this is why I like the chair of the finance committee. We must reduce drunkards in this country. And we must reduce smokers. And we must, by doing that, we must increase taxation on them. And I asked the chair that for the budget to balance, we must find a way. Because, Madam Chair, as we go to build mosques and churches, our competitors, you know, most of the time they go to the bar. So now that we have increased taxation, they will not go to the bar. They will join us in the church and in the mosque. So I support that more people should leave the bar.
There's an intervention by the Honorable Mulele.
He must declare his interest. I have not named anybody.
Point of order. Who are the competitors of the venerable leader of majority? The ones who are competing with him and who go to the bars while he goes to the mosque and
You want,
to the churches.
Honorable Mulele, you want a clarification, substantiation to this leader of majority?
Number one, Madam Chair, I don't go to the bar. I'm a Muslim. Neither do I drink. So anybody who goes to the bar is my competitor. Anybody in Kenya. But our political competitors, they are known. So, because I believe in charity, Chairman, you have done very well that people must leave the bars and they must leave smoking. You know, when you go to town, you'll see a cage. People who don't know each other. And they sit, their business is only to smoke. They don't know, they don't belong to the same company, they don't know each other. So for us to stop that, and people go to church,
very well.
We must fight alcohol, we must fight betting to protect our children and to protect the future of Kenya. I support.
You support. Let me hear from the member for Alego Usong, who seems to be, I hope he...
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to support the amendments, but not for the reasons advanced by the majority leader. Madam Chair, for the record, it is known that the leadership of the leadership under which the majority leader subscribed to are great consumers of alcohol, because I also consume alcohol. So we consume it together. Even those who go to church, like church and mosque, like the people he's referring to, also consume alcohol. Madam Chair, my argument for supporting this amendment is because if you...
You know, members, please let us be relevant. Honorable Leader of Majority, your intervention. Honorable Member for...
I really want to do a correction, Madam Chair.
Yes.
It's not in order to say, yeah, there are people who drink and they go to church. But for Muslims, you go to the bar, you have left us.
Very well. That is for the most honorable Atandi, maybe speaking for the non-Muslims. But that is...
Madam Chair,
yes.
Madam Chair, if you look at the rate of taxation across Africa, for alcohol and cigarettes and etc., Kenya is still ranking very low. And I think in the next finance bill, we need to even increase these rates further up. So we need to increase them up. No, I'm saying that if you compare the rest of taxation in Kenya vis-a-vis the other African countries, and even Europe, where alcohol and cigarettes are consumed more, the taxation rates are very high, and yet people still consume. So my contribution is that I support...
Honorable Alengo, just address the chair.
So
Honorable, because it's distracting you.
So I support the amendment and even urge the House that in future we continue to increase these rates up. Thank you, Madam Chair.
The member for Mavoko.
Thank you, Chair. With a lot of respect for the majority leader, is that we don't go to church because of alcohol. But members of the Muslim community don't go to the mosque because they are chewing miraa and mogoka. So I think if we are talking...
Order members, Order Macau, just contribute to the proposed amendment, and
I agree.
Let us be relevant.
I agree with the Chair Finance, with the amendments that's brought to this House.
You agree with the Chair Finance. Let me hear the member, Honorable Sankok.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I support this amendment, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I request that in the supplementary budget or in the subsequent budget, we really do increase taxation on alcohol, because our bars are even more than our schools. Our bars are more than our shops. So I suggest that the Finance Committee will find a way of taxing more on alcohol and reducing or zero rating food products like ugali and the rest. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and I support.
Very well. Let me have this member, the member Mabonga Mwambu, member for Bumula.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I support the amendment with two reasons. One, Madam Chair, some of the places are reserved for, it's like a club. When you talk of a bar, actually, we need to raise even the taxes to ensure that people who go there, they're able to make the payments. Because, in fact, one time, we were very happy when the minister released a regulation and directive that the bar should not be close to the school. So this kind of amendments that the chair has brought is very important. And secondly, Madam Chair, it's important because it's going actually to assist our children. Those children at times they access little money from their change of maybe doing things in school, basic things. They are likely to find themselves in the bar doing at least drinking. So if we raise this kind of taxes, we will definitely be saving the next generation. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Then members, let me have the member,
Madam Chair, no, I support, but I will really want to tell the chair that next time, apart from paying taxes while smoking, you should also pay further taxes when you are smoking in public, so that people.
Very well. There's an interesting,
yes.
it's an interesting clause.
Yeah.
Members, Honorable Ichung'wah.
Chair, I was also rising to support, and especially what Honorable Atandi has said, that indeed in Kenya we are still at a very low level of taxation on these sin taxes. And I want to encourage the Chair Finance and Honorable Atandi, who sits in that committee, in the next finance bill, please increase these taxes. Honorable Chair, I don't know if this is also on, it was on the same amendment, the excise duty on betting and gaming.
It is part of it. He moved everything. It's part of it.
You move everything.
Yeah, he moved.
Therefore, Chair, let me also commend the committee for the proposed increment from 10% to 20%, and also thank the Speaker for his guidance in line of Article 114 in declining the proposed amendments by the two members who had proposed. And as the Speaker said, it is rather queer that members of the same committee would propose amendments that go counter, and I think the Speaker mentioned it, that is not just the fact that the members were seated in the committee, but that their proposals were negating what the committee has proposed. And I think as members of committees, we should be very honest with ourselves in our committees to support what has been agreed by a majority of the members in committee. And if you have a different opinion, as the Speaker advised, you have every right to present your dissenting report, a minority report. Therefore, well. I support the amendments by the committee.
Very well. All what you are saying, it's true, and it was already communicated by the Speaker. Let me have the last member for Honorable Gikaria.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, just to confirm, yes, I drink. But Honorable Speaker, I think the best thing that we also need to ask ourselves, do we increase taxes on cigarettes and alcohol to stop people from drinking or to raise revenue? Because I'm saying this, Honorable Madam Chair, when you come to urban areas, if you continue increasing the taxes on this alcohol, the known ones, then people revert to the illicit ones. And then at the end of the day, we end up encouraging people to take more illicit than the proper beer. So I think it is important for us also to start looking at it from that angle. Thank you.
We are on the finance bill, honourable members, and of course we know we are raising taxes. Honourable members, it's a very interesting clause, and allow me put a closure to it by putting the question. I put the question, which is that clause 23 be amended as proposed by Honorable Limo. As members of the opinion say aye, and as members of the opinion say nay, the ayes have it. I put the question to the clause, which is as clause 23, as amended, be part of the bill. As members of the opinion say aye, and as members of the opinion say no, the ayes have it. Honorable Leader of, not Leader of Majority, Leader of Majority, the member behind you. He's consulting loudly. Honorable members. Next. Remember, we move to the Tax Procedures Act.
Tax Procedures Act, clause 24.
I propose a question which is a clause 24 be part of the bill. Members, we have no amendment to clause 24. I move to put a question which is a clause 24 be part of the bill. As members of the opinion say aye, as members of the opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 25.
I propose a question which is that clause 25 be part of the bill. Chairperson, please move the amendment. Yes, we have an amendment.
Madam Chair, I propose that the bill be amended as per the order paper. Madam Chair, the import of this amendment we have done, we were deleting the word assessing, which was being proposed in the bill. We were in the opinion that prohibiting the commissioner from assessing for the purpose of penalties was not in good taste, and therefore we deleted the word assessing so that the commissioner can still assess records in terms of when trying to find out what the penalties accruing are.
A point of, he was just moving his, a point of order on matters of decorum, I would give it. Yes, Honorable, because before I propose...
Madam Chair, it's on matters of decorum. Honorable Ole Sangok, who is also referred to as Akode, has just been swinging here and interfering with our sitting. So I want, Madam Chair, that you rule him out of order. Is he in order to be doing physiotherapy? In the chambers.
Order. Honorable, because you raised a very important decorum and point of order. Honorable, I didn't know you are referred to as Akode, but I don't know that. Those are not official names also. But I did see, I did watch. And from where I sit, I want to read to Honorable 001. That is on standing order number 104. That except when passing to and from his or her seat, or when speaking, every member when in the chamber shall be seated and shall not at any time stand in any of the passages and gangways. You are actually swinging, so remember, if you really have to be out, needed some assistance, you know what to do. So please, with that, honorable members, let us observe that, our standing order number 104, and I move to propose a question, taking note on that, and to that, standing order number 104. I propose a question which is at clause 25 be amended as proposed by Honorable Limo. Honorable Ichungwa.
Honorable Chair, let me thank the Chair and the committee again for that amendment. And Honorable Chair, maybe also take this opportunity to speak to the Office of the Attorney General and those who sit in the National Treasury. The import of some of the proposals that are brought to this House, Honorable Speaker, Chair, are very suspect. And you would wonder, why would a government officer be proposing that the Commissioner General of KRA be refrained from assessing or recovering penalties on taxes from a segment of businesses, Honorable Speaker? And we must tell our public officers, Honorable Speaker, that as much as you may have business interests also in some of those segments, because in a particular segment, what they are calling the growth segment of in the security exchange, Honorable Speaker, why would you refrain the Commissioner General from assessing taxes and penalties from just one segment unless they are particular interest, Honorable Speaker? And I want to thank the Chair and the committee for being vigilant to ensure that you do not protect particular industries or particular people, and everybody, in line with the Constitution, Honorable Chair, that everybody must pay taxes and nobody should be exempted. And we must support KRA in being able to raise revenues from all segments, be it in the Capital Markets Authority or even the small businesses and the medium growth businesses, Honorable Speaker, because there are also industries, and I speak this, Honorable Speaker, as a small-scale trader. There are small businesses that would warrant being in the growth sector, but are not listed in the Security Exchange. Therefore, if you stop the Commissioner from assessing those that are listed under the Capital Markets, the Security Exchange, and you allow the Commissioner to assess those others out here, then you'll be disadvantaging those that are not in the exchange market and making the trading platform very unfair to those that are not listed. And therefore, Honorable Chair, I want to support the committee.
The member for Go Songa, before the leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, this amendment is very important. And you need to look at this amendment in the way cartels operate in government. Madam Chair, when we were amending this proposal, we were keen to understand why the minister was proposing that this assessment be done by himself and not the Commissioner General. And therefore, I am happy that once and for all, we are going to kill those cartels that have been operating in Treasury since 2013, when Jubilee government took over power. And now we have the leeway to give the right people the opportunity to do their work. I support Madam Chair.
Leader of Majority.
No, I don't see why people should harass. People
This
should
is a
not
house
harass.
of debates.
People should not harass Honorable Attorney.
Yes.
Yeah, he has free thought and free speech. Yeah. Chair, I think the Commissioner is being refrained from accessing or recovery of penalties for a particular sector, and this time companies that are listed on the growth segment. This is the animal farm, like in taxation. In fact, we should be told who are these companies. These companies, we must be told, are they foreign, are they local, who are the shareholders? And the Commissioner General of KRA, or the Commissioner of Customs, or Commissioner of Domestic Tax, or large tax, they have powers given to them by this House to collect taxes, except where this House gives powers not to collect, or whether it is tax or penalties. So I think this is, I agree with the chair, that if it is about paying taxes, there should be no sacred cows. Yeah, there should be no sacred cows, so I support.
With that debate, honourable members, I put a question which is that clause 25 be amended as proposed by Honourable Limo. As many as have this opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, members, the ayes have it. Next clause. I put the question to the clause which is that clause 25 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have this opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, the honourable members, the ayes have it. Next.
Clauses 26, 27, and 28.
I propose a question which is that clauses 26, 27, and 28 be part of the bill. Members, we have no amendment to the clauses, and I therefore move to put the question, which is that clauses 26, 27, and 28 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of this opinion say aye? As many as the contrary opinion say nay? Members, the ayes have it.
Clause 29.
I propose a question which is that clause 29 be part of the bill. We have an amendment. The Honourable Chair, Limo, move the amendment.
Madam Chair, I propose that clause 29 be amended as per the order paper. The intention of this amendment, Madam Chair, is to provide for clarity that the inaction by the Commissioner shall lead to automatic conclusion that the objection is allowed. This clause is about objections by taxpayers. So if the Commissioner is required to reply within 60 days, and therefore if the Commissioner doesn't reply, then it is assumed that he has accepted.
With that, important members, I propose a question which is at clause 29 be amended as proposed by Honorable Limo. The mood of the House is Honorable Chris Wamalwa.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, these things are unique on a case basis, and this is something that has happened depending on the complication of the aspect at hand. The 60 days in some cases, I know it has been there for timeliness, but in some cases, it has worked to the contrary. I think it is good also to assess, not to assume that within 60 days, if there's no reply, deemed that he has accepted no, because it is on a case-to-case scenario. So how I wish that we'll have left that discretion, but I think this has been the practice that is already there. I think we can have it, but it's good to put into consideration that at times it depends on how complicated a matter is.
Very well.
Thank you.
Let me have the Honorable, before I put the question, Honorable Jude Luanga Kangede Jomo. Oh, you don't want to speak to this. Allow me put the question, which is at clause 29, be amended as proposed by Honorable Joseph Limo. As many as are of the opinion say aye, and as many as contrary opinion say nay, members the ayes have it. I put the question to the clause, which is at clause 29, as amended, be part of the bill. Remember, as many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as the contrary opinion say nay, members the ayes have it.
Clauses 30, 31, and 32.
I propose the question, which is at clauses 30, 31, and 32 be part of the bill. Honourable members, we have no amendments to these clauses, and I therefore move to put the question, which the clauses 30, 31, and 32 be part of the bill. As many as are of this opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay, remember the ayes have it. We are moving to the Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act, honourable members. I propose the question, which is at clause 33, be part of the bill. We have no amendment to clause. No, and before I propose, let the clerk call it out.
Provisions relating to Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act, clause 33.
I propose the question, which is at clause 33, be part of the bill. We have no amendment to this, and I therefore move to put the question, which is at clause 33, be part of the bill. As many as are of the opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 34.
I propose the question, which that clause 34 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment. The Honourable Chair, you have an amendment to clause 34?
Madam Chair, I propose that clause 34 be amended as per the order paper. The justification for this, Madam Chair, is that in order to actualize the affordable housing projects, the IDF, which is the import declaration form fee, be charged at 1.5% for the housing project to support the Big Four.
I propose the question that clause 34 be amended as proposed by the chair. Leader Majority.
Chair, this amendment that came from government and also from the National Treasury and Ministry of Housing is specifically for those who want to invest in the 500 housing units of the president, not for any other Big Four. So we should be very, very careful and that it be abused. That if you are building houses for your mother or for your girlfriend, you don't enjoy these tax rebates, including the accord of
The Honorable Barasa.
Chair, thank you very much. As much as I was almost supporting these amendments, but we should know that this country, the problem this country is facing is because of people taking advantage of these very laws we are passing here to steal from this government and forcing the government to dig deeper. So unless there is an amendment and clear that this is only for housing, Honorable Chair, I oppose. We are not going, this House is not going to give leeway for unscrupulous business people to take advantage and to begin to siphon money from this country.
Very well. The Honorable Chepkut. The Honorable Chepkut.
Hey. Mr. Speaker, sir, my apology, Chair, no problem. My apology, Leader. First of all, His Excellency the President, Uhuru Kenyatta, who is also the head of states and government, Commander-in-Chief of Kenya Defense Forces, according to Article 131E, is the 5-star general. Therefore, his decision is between fully with the greatest totality ever that I support the amendment.
Which amendment are you supporting, the Honorable Chepkut?
The housing, oh yes, of the chair.
The Honorable
Chairman is Honorable Limo.
Just hold
second term member of Parliament, the Chairman of Finance.
The one by the Chairman, very well.
Clause 34, Chair, Clause 34.
Very well, the Honorable Chepkut, you've clarified, because I had not seen any amendment by the Honorable President of Kenya. But now that you're supporting the one by the Chairman of the Committee on Finance, you are very well within your rights. We shall have the Honorable Atandi, then we shall have the Honorable Jomo from this side. The Honorable Atandi, make it brief.
Chair, thank you very much. And I want members to listen. You know, Chairman, it is inconceivable that in this era, there are some construction materials which must be imported from other countries. So even though the committee, as a member of the committee, I have to support this amendment, which I do duly support. I think as a House, I think we must agree that we may open Pandora's box for unscrupulous people to import stuff. And also, when they came before us, they said that there are certain things that are used in construction which are not found in Africa. They have to be brought from some countries. Because I was concerned that, you know, if we are building enhancing construction sector, as an economy, can't we really have everything? Can we manufacture everything locally? So, whereas I support this amendment, I want to plead with the House that in future, we must ensure that there's some vigilance around what are the stuff we are importing, and if we are building. I'm not persuaded that I can build, that a house can be built in this country without, that we must import certain things to build a house in this country. I don't know which house, what these materials would be. They were not very clear, but for now, I plead with the House to approve it, and then we can look at it later. Thank you.
Very well. The Honorable Jude.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I stand to support this amendment by the Chair of Committee. But, Mr. Speaker, as I support it, we must look at this affordable housing, you know, from a Mr. Chairman, could you please protect
the Honorable Pukose, allow the Honorable Jude to make his contribution.
Mr. Speaker, as I support this, we must look at this from a wider point of view. Most of these affordable houses are being developed in urban areas. And we will have a situation where people can only afford houses in urban areas, while in the rural areas, people are not able to build. What will happen? We will have the rural-urban migration, and we will have our the rural areas lagging behind. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we are exempting the developers from paying taxes when they import some of these products. While we'll do this, we must also have incentives for those manufacturers who are local and they are able to manufacture local material that are going into this low-cost housing, because they are going to improve the economy of our country, they are going to increase employment. So as we reduce taxes on imported material, we must also build incentives to those local manufacturers and those people who use local material so that we build our country as we build our housing. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well spoken, the Honorable Jude. The Honorable Gikaria.
Honorable Speaker, I'm a little bit lost, and I will only plead
Why are
with
you
the
lost,
chair.
Gikaria? You are international.
I will plead with the chair when he's moving his motion, at least to give some meat to his explanation. Because when I'm reading at the amendment, it is from he's substituting 2 to 3.5, which means he's increasing, unless I've lost myself. So because according to what is here on the order paper, it is from you delete 2 and substitute to 3.5. So does it mean?
The Honorable Gikaria, the Honorable Limo, I hope you've taken note of the Honorable Gikaria's concern.
Are we reducing to increase to help the big four in terms of housing, or because if you increase taxes, then it means the houses will be expensive.
You've made your point, the Honorable Gikaria. The Honorable Macau, member for Mavoko.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe, Chair, I'll want some advice from you, because as much as I support this exemption, Mr. Chair, I don't know why it stands, because these affordable housing has been brought to Mavoko, and they have taken 4,000 acres. So I'm wondering, how are we going to exempt developers to build in land that has also been taken away freely without compensating the owners? Mr. Chairman, I think sometimes we have to be realistic. And I know there are members here, and we represent people in this house. Mr. Chairman, as much as we want to say that we are building houses for the citizens, you cannot demolish his houses, then you exempt materials, then you give the land for free, and the owners of that land don't benefit in any way.
Very well, the Honorable...
It's my humble request, Mr. Chair, it's my humble request that the President of this country should also realize people of Mavoko, that land belongs to them, and before it is given out for affordable housing, he should also consider them to build and also enjoy this exemption of these materials coming from wherever.
Very well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Very well, so you oppose the Honorable member for Mavoko. Chair of Finance, do you have something to say before we put it to the question? Very well, honorable members, you have to make a decision one way or another. I now put the question that clause 35 be amended. You have a clarification? Very well.
For avoidance of doubt, this 1.5 is an exception that all the IDF is moving from 2% to 3.5, except for the imports which are for the purpose of affordable housing projects proposed by the President, which will be at 1.5. So if you look at subsection A and subsection B, to make it clear. So in fact, the drafting is okay. Yeah.
Very well. Honorable members, allow me then to put the question that clause 34 be amended as proposed by the chair of Finance Committee. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 34 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 35.
I propose the question that clause 35 be part of the bill. Chair, you have an amendment to this?
Yes, Madam, sorry, Mr. Chair.
It is all right. It is all right. There's been a change. It's okay.
Yes. Chair, I propose that clause 35 be amended as per the order paper. This is about railway development levy. And currently, railway development levy is at the rate of 1.5. Okay, Mr. Chair, Chair, you know, there was some break and there was some interference. This amendment is almost in the same way as per the previous clause 34, but it is concerning railway development levy, which is being proposed that for the purpose of actualizing the affordable housing projects of the Big Four agenda, the RDL, popularly the railway development levy, popularly known as RDL, it will be at 1.5%. Yeah, that is the intention of this amendment. It is the same way we did in the IDF. So we are doing on the railway development levy again to provide that it will be charged at 1.5% for the purpose of affordable housing projects.
Well, I propose the question that clause 35 be amended as proposed by the chair. The Honorable Leader of Majority?
Chair, I think the chair needs to make it very clear. The railway development levy is 1.5. And in my reading, you are exempting that from anybody who is involved in the importation of materials for the construction of the housing units under the Big Four. But members are asking, are you increasing the levy or you're exempting? And from where I sit, I think you're exempting this particular. What are you? I mean, you need to come out very clearly.
Leader of Majority. Just hold on. We will move systematically. From what I can see here, you are proposing to increase the rate to 2%, but providing exemptions. Is that what we're intending to do?
Clear. The bill itself is proposing to move RDL, which is Railway Development Levy, from 1.5 to 2%.
Correct.
But for the purpose of housing projects under the Big Four,
yes,
they will be retained at 1.5.
Correct.
That is the intention.
So that is what members you have to deal with. The chair is proposing to increase the general rate to 2%, but those components that will be used, imported to be used in the housing,
development levy is a levy that was introduced for the building of the SGR to supplement the building of SGR. And the SGR is still going to Kisumu. So the moment we finish the stretch of the Kenya SGR, this railway development levy will be stopped. So before it was 1.5. Now government, because they want to reduce debt borrowing, they say let us increase to 2% for others. But for the housing scheme, it will still remain at 1.5. That's the gist of the matter. And please let us not make it. I mean, the railway development levy is not something that is going to stay for long. As long as we're building the railway up to... Yes, for now you'll be taxed. If you bring a car, if you bring whatever. So I think
Honorable members, I think it is clear that the general rate is being increased to 2%, except for those materials that will be used under the housing segment, the Big Four housing. Members, we must make progress. The Honorable Member for Bumula, what do you have to add to this?
When it comes to these things, Chair, you know, clarity is very important, Mr. Chairman, because when you are talking of railway development levy, that is subsidizing actually the building of the railway without even telling us the very figures that have been used. It becomes very difficult because they're just only giving us percentage. And at times, when we sit here, we like even working with the figures exactly. How much are they collecting and how much is expected to do this kind of job, Mr. Leader?
Members, you need to make a decision on this. Members, we need to make progress. I therefore put the question that clause 35 be amended as proposed by the chair of Finance Committee. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 35 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 36.
I propose the question that clause 36 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 36 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 37.
I propose the question that clause 37 be part of the bill. Chair, you have an amendment to this.
Honorable Chair, I propose that clause 37 be amended as per the order paper. This clause, Madam Honorable Chair, is about taxation on hides and skin, which is majorly produced by the Hansard areas where there are animals. Madam Chair, the intention here was that most of the skin which is produced in Kenya currently is not being consumed, all of it. It is estimated that only 5% is consumed locally. That is why the government is increasing the TTIs to train our young people so that they can produce shoes and bags in Kenya. But for the time being, these TTIs have just been launched and they have not trained enough the technicians. So the proposal here is to delete the taxation which was being put on exports so that it will allow the production which is being produced to be exported without being hindered. Because if it is hindered, then it will affect the farmers who will be throwing away the stones, the skins and hides and skin instead of selling to the factories which are currently established in Kenya.
Honorable members, the Honorable Manje, you have something to say to this? Well, just hold on, the Honorable Manje, I'll give you an opportunity. Allow me to propose that clause 37 be amended by deleting as proposed by the Chair of Finance. The Honorable Manje.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted also to support that deletion because it could have discouraged Kenyans who are able to turn hides to wet brew and export. Those would have brought the prices of hides and skins even lower in this country. I support.
I'm sure the leader majority has something to say to this.
Chair, I don't know why the chair is deleting the whole of 37. And the 10%.
Leader, let me just help you. What he is doing...
No, I know what he has done because there was 10% export levy.
Yes.
Which he's saying no. But Chair...
Correct. Proceed.
I think what we need to ask ourselves is, still raw skin is exported out of the country. And Kenya Revenue Authority must make sure they seal those loopholes. Still people go to Uganda, they cross the border, they stamp the documents as if the raw hides are coming from Uganda, and they're taken to the port of Mombasa. This has been the serious issue. So I think the chair, in the next time we're going to do, I think this is better we get the revenue, the 10%, because still you cannot stop raw hide. But anyway, I support, because the chair has confirmed to me that for him to balance the finance bill, he has increased the cigarettes and beer. So the gap is still being set. But in future, don't be cheated. And you know, Honorable Manje did not declare his interest. From the day I published this, this bill, he kept on asking, where is the finance bill? So we did our due diligence. Either, yes, if you see him here, he must be representing.
The Honorable Manja will stand protected. He's a member of parliament. He has every right to participate in these proceedings. He's well within his rights. So the Honorable Manja, you sit comfortably and contribute. The Honorable Jude.
Bonachair, our economy is supported by paying taxes. And every sector of economy pays taxes so that we get money for the government to use. I find this amendment discriminatory, that one sector of our economy is not paying taxes while all the other sectors are paying taxes. I would like every sector of our economy to play its role by paying taxes to support our economy, like any other sector. If coffee farmers are paying taxes,
The Honorable Jude, you have made your point.
Even
Honorable members, we need to be brief on this one. If you're opposed to it, we should be able to move. The Honorable Barasa.
Honorable Chair, I'm also surprised that the Chair is proposing deletion of this very important clause. And I'm even beginning to think that the justification is giving are not genuine. Maybe after publishing this particular bill, cartels or some people with certain interests, they try to approach him. Because this is a very good...
the Honorable Barasa, you are out of order. You cannot impute improper motive on the chair without laying foundation. The Honorable Ashiali, finally, then we shall put the question.
Thank you, Chair.
Very well.
I want to support the Chair of the Committee on Finance, and the reasons are that this is going to act as a motivation for more exports so that there will be more taxation, there will be more income and more taxation, Chair. And to even avoid what Honorable Dwade was saying, that you will take documents to Uganda to go and stamp and then bring them here as if they originated from Uganda. If you allowed exporters to take off from Kenya, we will still get income from the taxation of the money that comes from outside, as opposed to reducing motivation by taxing on the source.
The Honorable Member for Roysambu.
Thank you, Chairman. I think members are losing the argument here. We are deleting this clause to encourage Kenyan farmers to export skins and hides so that we can get foreign exchange. Mr. Chairman, the argument here is that presently in Kenya, we don't have sufficient human resources to add value. And it is around this time that we are growing our TVETs, where our young men can be trained in making hides, making shoes, making leather products. So we are saying, in the meantime, as we grow capacity, let us encourage Kenyans to export skins and hides so that we can get value and we can get
the Honorable
foreign
Vice
exchange.
Chair, you have explained yourself. Honorable members, allow me to put the question. And I now put the question that clause 37 be deleted as proposed by the Chair of Finance Committee. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Other miscellaneous acts, clauses 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42.
I propose the question that clauses 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42 under the miscellaneous acts be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The Honorable Member for Kikuyu, you have to wait for you to be prompted to say aye or nay. You cannot say it before the chair prompts you. Don't be in a hurry. This is the law. Very well, very well. We'll proceed.
Clause 43.
I propose the question that clause 43 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, you have an amendment to this?
All right. Chair, I propose that clause 43 be amended as per the order paper. This clause is on the capping of interest rates. So what we are proposing is to delete that amendment which was proposing to remove interest capping so that the interest capping can still remain. However, we are proposing certain amendments to make it compliant to the law. That is, according to the court, they had ruled that there was constitutionality issue of the section 33B of the Banking Act. So we have amended those sections in line with what was also being proposed by one of the honorable members here, that is Jude Jomo. Jude Jomo also was also proposing the same, and we have also taken the same issues into this amendment. So, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, that is the import of this amendment.
Very well. Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 43 be amended as proposed by the chair of the Committee on Finance. Honorable members, we shall start with Honorable Chris Famalwa.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mr. Limo, I really want to thank you because when you're debating this, we are really opposed to this. And I'm happy to learn that you are a listening chairman. The banking industry, Mr. Chair, in this country, and we explained this, actually what he has done, removing that capping, which some of us had really supported. And we had already discussed this in the previous bill of Honorable George Jumo. And what I've learned from here, it has just been borrowed as per the court judgment. And we had things like credit facility, the loan, ABCD. So I want to thank you for that. And at least you are listening. In this country,
The Honorable Chris Famalwa.
Mr. Chair, in this country, the banking industry plays a very critical role. And we have few players in the banking industry who have been making super profits, abnormal profits, and I'm happy the chair listened, and the banks conspired to blackmail that we must be able to remove the capping so that they continue making abnormal profits. And as the representatives of the people, we said no. So I really want to thank him for that.
Very well,
and now in that context, then, do we need to continue with your
Very
bill?
well. The Honorable Chris Famalwa, you made your point. The Honorable Gikaria, member for Nakuru East, then we'll have the...
Thank you, Chair. And I want to agree with Chair. And also thank Jude Jomo for being very, very loyal to his mission. And it is true. You know, Honorable Chair, if you look at the banking industry, they have always given us misinformation on matters particularly on the SMEs, that they are not giving because they are high risk, and they continue making those supernormal profits. So I totally agree with the committee that we can be able to, and continue, you know, trying to improve for those SMEs to be able to continue borrowing at that low rate. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The Honorable Member for Kikuyu.
Thank you, Chair, and I couldn't agree more with the committee, and more so, Honorable Chair, first in disagreeing with the National Treasury in the proposals that were there in the finance bill. That, I think they have listened to the people of Kenya. And two, Honorable Chair, to say that it is a fallacy what we are being told, that banks are not lending to SMEs and those of us as individuals because of the interest rate capping. The interest rate capping, Honorable Chair, is just an excuse. The principal reason why banks are not lending to SMEs and the private sector is government dependency on borrowing from the domestic market. If we want to fix the problem, let us first fix the problem of domestic borrowing, Honorable Speaker. And I spoke about it during the second reading, and I want to thank the chair, especially for taking the proposals to constitutionalize what was said by the court to have been unconstitutional from the proposal that we did from the Jude Jomo bill on interest capping. And I therefore want to ask the National Treasury, let them be listening to the people. Let them listen also to the people's representatives here. Let them act to check on our level of domestic borrowing. Once we do that, Honorable Speaker, we shall not need to even deal with this issue of capping. Two, Honorable Chair, is on the question of government management of its own cash flows. Almost 70% of the money that government borrows from the domestic market, Honorable Chair, is money that belongs to government. The head of public service, Joseph Kinyua, has done a circular now that is in a way trying to check onto that problem, especially with our parastatals, but it is not enough, Honorable Speaker. And I think since I have an amendment on the Public Finance Management Act that speaks to that particular issue of cash flow management in government, that is where the problem is. Sorry, I wanted to use the word devil, but the problem is in cash flow management and our domestic borrowing, not interest rates capping.
Very well spoken. The Honorable Leader of Majority, the Honorable Duale.
Chair, I think as a country and as a house, we should not in. No, so, but I'm saying this house must listen. No, but, Chair, you know.
The Honorable Leader of Majority, we need to be brief on this. We need to be able to move on this.
No, we cannot turn the house into a tanga corner. And particularly.
The Honorable Gikaria, what is out of order?
Honorable Chair, you know, it surprises me. My very able leader of majority under Jubilee has another, he's referring other teams here as Tanga. And he's our leader in Jubilee. And unless he's marketing Tanga and you told us who are the members, as we are strong believers of Jubilee under his leadership.
The Honorable Gikaria, there is no Tanga or anything else in the House. This is a House of members of Parliament. The Honorable Leader of Majority, finish.
Chair, you know, we have Jubilee with over 170 members of Parliament. We have ODM, which is second. Then we have Wiper, which is just at the brink of becoming, not reaching a parliamentary party. And then we have, you know, KANU and a few others. Ford Kenya is a serious party with about 15, and then ANC with another 12. Then we have KANU, I think, which is another party, which is it 5 or 2? Yeah? So, but there are formations, you know, outside my leadership. I'm the leader of Jubilee in the House. But there are Keleweke, there's Tanga, and when I say Tanga, there are quite a number here, both sides. So we will not deny. But I think, as I agree with the chair, my point, Chair, is that let us have a discussion on whether the capping of interest rates is of benefit to the intended purpose that we capped for. Our people accessing credit? If the figures are to the contrary, why is it happening? Why is it not happening? We should not just, you know, have a blind, we blind ourselves on something. I think it's good we discuss, and I think the central bank, the national treasury, the private sector, Kenya Bank Association we need to engage them. We need to listen to them. Parliament has the powers to amend, but you know, just because Honorable Jude Jomo is saying he has a mission, his mission is crashing. I mean, well, if you ask me, his mission is not of any benefit. So I think Honorable Ikaria was saying, I want to thank Honorable Jude Jomo with his mission. Even, you know, the Americans had a mission to crash Iran.
The Honorable Leader of Majority.
So they realized Iran is too powerful, and their mission has collapsed. So let us have a discussion. Let's open the dialogue.
Very well. The Honorable Leader of Majority, if you looked at the report of that committee, you will see that all those stakeholders had a session, a public participation session with the Committee on Finance. And the central bank and all these bankers and all other people were invited to discuss this. And I think the report of the committee is clear if you read, if you have to read on that. We shall have the Honorable Mabonga, then we shall have the Honorable Nunga. The Honorable Mabonga.
Leader,
let the Honorable
protect
Mabonga
me from the Leader of Majority. Chair, it's unfortunate Leader of Majority is advocating on something that he does not even believe in, because he says where he comes from, they don't believe in borrowing this money that comes with interest. What the chair has done, the chair of finance, he has listened to the voice of majority. Chair, we are here, we represent people. And today, if you go in the village, even this auctioning of properties has gone down because the rates, there is capping of the rates. So we've seen the report actually, they listened. There was actually a meeting between the committee and the treasury and other stakeholders. And have given us actually the position of the majority and the position of this house. The leader of majority himself is actually debating and acting on something that he does not believe. It's unfortunate.
Very well, the Honorable Atandi. No, the leader of majority, you've heard your say. Let the Honorable Atandi speak also.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I want members to listen to me because I think I'm the only practicing banker in this house. I want you to benefit from my contribution. Chairman, the Chair of Budget has said something which is very important, that there is over domestic borrowing.
The Honorable Pukose, what is out of order?
Honorable Chair, I don't know whether you heard it. Honorable Atandi said he's the only practicing banker in the House. I thought he is the honorable member representing Aleko Usonga. Now, when he says he's the only practicing banker in the House, I don't know whether it's a Shylock, that's what, in the House, because we don't have banking in the House here.
The Honorable Atandi proceed.
Chairman, thank you. Chairman, I wanted the House to benefit from just two things. The Chair of the Budget has said that there is over domestic borrowing in this economy, and I agree with him. But Chairman, he has the solution. What is the reason? Why is the government over borrowing in the domestic market? It's because we continue to have a large fiscal deficit. He is the chairman of the budget. I want him to present the next budget, a budget which is balanced, so that the government will not need to go to the market to borrow. Ultimately, and this needs to go on the records, that I want to support the amendments. The amendments that not repealing the interest cap law. This is very fundamental. But Chairman, in future, we need to have a financial market which is self-regulating. That will only happen if we will have a balanced budget. We need to cut the fiscal deficit with up to 5 basis points. If we do that, then, Chairman, we will not need this law. But for now, banks have failed to convince us that if we repeal interest cap law, that they will give credit to SMEs. That one they have not given us justification.
Thank
they
you,
are not telling
Honorable.
us how they'll do it. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, the Honorable Atandi. Finally, the Honorable Jude Jomo, then we shall put the question.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think this is the first time that we have one matter that is being discussed via two bills, because this matter of capping is being discussed through Banking Amendment Bill, which we concluded the second reading this morning, and it is also being discussed through the Finance Bill. And I would like to thank the Chair of Finance Committee and his committee members, because they have taken into consideration all the matters that were discussed in the Banking Amendment Act, and they have taken them in this bill. And Chair, this will give us an opportunity to have, to sanitize the faults that were found by the courts in this bill, and this will be done within the required time of 12 months. Mr. Chair, it is worth noting that the Treasury had recommended the removal of caps, and I do not know whether they are in touch with the public. Because
so that it is very clear that everything they do outside there, then by the time they are coming to Kenya, is already done at source.
I propose the question that clause 44 be amended as proposed by the Chair of Finance. I now put the question that clause 44 be amended as proposed by the Chair of the Committee on Finance. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 44 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 45.
I propose the question that clause 45 be part of the bill. Chair?
Chair, I propose that clause 45 be amended as per the order paper. The bill was proposing to apply the law retrospectively, which is not the practice. So we are amending by removing that retrospective effect of 3 years.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 45 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 45 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 45 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 46, 47, 48.
I propose the question that clauses 46, 47, and 48 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 46, 47, and 48 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 49.
I propose the question that clause 49 be part of the bill. Honorable Leader of Majority, you have a proposed amendment to this. Amendments to this. There's one by the Honorable Duale, the Leader of Majority, and there's another one by the Chair of the committee. The one that is proposed by the Honorable Duale, if it succeeds, then the one by the committee will fall by the way. Proceed, the Honorable Duale.
I have dropped my amendment. I'm dropping my amendment.
Very well. Very well. We shall now proceed with the one by the Honorable Limo.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I propose that clause 49 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment is actually to replace what was being proposed. In the last finance bill, we had proposed that, and it was adopted, that all the students who are doing examination, that is accountancy examination, will be required to register with the ISPAC, which is the institute in charge of accountancy, but free of charge. They will not be charged. The purpose of this is for the institute to get involved from the word go in giving experience and support to the students, as well as ensuring that that particular student, because while doing exams, they also get engaged in working, are actually governed by professional ethics. And this is going to ensure that accounting profession is well regulated and it is self-regulating. It is not going to be moved by anybody.
I propose the question that clause 49 be amended as proposed by the Chair of Finance. The Honorable Leader of Majority, we shall start with you, and I know the Honorable Member for Kikuyu is very interested in this one.
Because he's an accountant, yes. But I think a quack. No, I didn't say you are quack.
The Honorable Leader of Majority will withdraw that comment.
I have withdrawn that and apologize. Chair, one of the reasons why I withdrew my amendment is because of what it entails. And you know I'm a father of an accountant at the university. It's about to finish. Which is saying that pegging all accountants that they must be members of the professional body. That's being very unfair. Yeah, that for you to get a job, you must present a certificate. I mean, professional bodies are like clubs. It's you to join. It's voluntary. Dr. Pukose can be a member of KMA or not. So if you say the following sections immediately after, say that no persons or a public or private entity shall employ a person to practice accountants unless that person is to be employed is a member of an institute. How do you want young Kenyans in our constituencies who are accountants, how do they get jobs? So I really want to ask the chairman, before we subject you to a very brutal voting, you better drop it.
Very well. We shall have the Honorable Ichungwa, member for Kikuyu.
It's Ishungwa, not Ichungwa. Ichungwa sounds like an orange. and I have no relation with oranges other than eating them, the same way we'll eat these oranges when the time comes. Honorable Chair, let me raise my reservations also with these amendments. First, Honorable Chair, these amendments came again through the miscellaneous statutes law last year. And I remember myself and Honorable John Buddy, the leader of minority, as accountants, we raised our reservations on the same amendments coming in through such miscellaneous ways. And as you know, the finance bill is also some sort of miscellaneous amendments bill. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I would really urge, and I know I have had consultations with members of ISPAC, I would really urge them and whoever has brought these amendments to bring us a substantive bill on an amendment bill on the Accountants Act. Otherwise, these piecemeal amendments, Honorable Speaker, will get things being sneaked in that are counterproductive not just to the young people, but even to people like myself, Honorable Speaker, that you are saying that despite my over 20 years experience, I cannot practice accountancy. And I can tell you, I became a certified public accountant in 1999. It's 20 years ago. I have never joined the institute. And I have never seen the benefits of joining the institute, Honorable Speaker. When lawyers, those of you who, Honorable Chair like yourself who is a lawyer, nobody forced you to join LSK. It is when you join the bar and automatically you become a member of the bar upon qualification. I would rather we have this.
Will apply properly by stating very clearly that any companies which were in existence before will not be affected by this new new provision of the law.
I propose the question that new clause 45A be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 45A be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 45A be part of the bill. And now put the question that new clause 45A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The Honorable Chair of Finance, looking at the fate of the earlier proposed amendment to the Accountant Institute issue, you might want to reconsider your proposed amendments to new clause 48A and 49A all the way to 49B, C, and D. What do you wish to do with them?
Mr. Chair, as earlier stated, I made it very clear that I am withdrawing all the clauses which are related to accountancy so that it allows more consultation and which will enable it to come in a very good and organized manner, having taken care of the views of other stakeholders and the law.
Thank you, the Chair. So clauses 48A, amendments as proposed in new clause 48A, new clause 49A, new clause 49B, new clause 49C, new clause 49D, as proposed by the Chair of Finance, stand dropped. The Honorable Leader of Majority, you had a proposal to amend to bring in new clause 48A. What do you wish what do you wish to do with it?
I was confused by the Office of the Attorney General, so I'm also dropping. They just brought it yesterday, so...
Very well, Leader of Majority. It is noted, and it is pronounced that the proposals to amend, to bring in new clause 48A by the Leader of Majority stands dropped.
New clause 51.
Chair.
Mr. Chair, I propose that new clause 51 be now read a second time. This clause is actually only deleting the word housing fund and replacing with the word National Housing Development Fund. To ensure remember that these housing projects will be handed over to the National Housing Development Fund, which will then transfer them to the beneficiaries. So this amendment is just to ensure it is going in that direction. And in fact, most of the other clauses, I'll seek your guidance, because several of them are actually talking about replacing and deleting and replacing with that word.
Very well.
Yes.
The Honorable Limo, you've done well. I propose the question that new clause 51 be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 51 be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 51 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 52.
I propose the question. Mover.
Mr. Chair, I propose that new clause 52 is now read in the second time. The import of this is really what I had said earlier, to delete the housing fund and replace with the National Housing Fund, National Housing Development Fund. Sorry. Yes.
Very well. I propose the question that new clause 52 be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 52 be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that new clause 52 be now be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 53.
Mover.
Mr. Chair, I will seek your direction on how to move on new clause 53 all the way to. Okay. Let me just say what I wanted to say. That Mr. Chair, I propose that new clause 53 is now read the second time, as per the order paper, subject to an amendment on the section which is being referred, because the current amendment is referring to section 6, while the actual section which we are amending is section. It is referring to section 6, while the actual section we are amending is section 7. So it is a drafting issue which we need to amend as we make this amendment.
You are in order, the Honorable Limo. I now propose the question that new clause 53 be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 53 be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that new clause 53 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 54.
The Honorable Limo.
Mr. Chair, let me confirm, are we on 55?
We are now on 55, yes.
Okay. Honorable Chair, I now move that new clause 55 be amended as proposed on the order paper, subject to the correction of the referred section from 7 to 8.
The Honorable Limo, yes, what you need to do, you need to read it that new clause 55 be amended as set out in the order paper with a further amendment in that section, with a further amendment, not subject, with a further amendment. You are making a further amendment.
All right, Mr. Chair, I stand guided. I propose, I propose that new clause 55 be now read a second time with a further amendment to section, the section 7 to read section 8.
Very well. I now put the question. I propose the question that new clause 55 be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 55 be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 55 be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 55 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 56.
The Honorable Limo.
Mr. Chair, I propose that new clause 56 is now read the second time with the further amendment to section just a minute, Chair. I just want to refer to something here to ensure it is proper. All right. Yes, let me repeat again, Chair, for record purposes, that I now propose that new clause 56 be now read a second time with a further amendment to section 7 to make it read section 9.
Very well. I propose the question that new clause 56 be now read a second time. I now put the question that new clause 56 be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 56 be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 56 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 57.
The Honorable Limo.
Mr. Chair, I propose that new clause 57 be now read a second time with an amendment to the section 11 to read section 14.
I propose the question that new clause 57 be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 57 be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 57 be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 57 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
New clause 58.
Honorable Limo.
Mr. Chair, I propose that new clause 58 be now read the second time with an amendment to the section 12 to read section 15.
I propose the question that new clause 58 be now read a second time. I put the question that new section 58 be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 58 be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 58 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 59.
Chair.
Mr. Chair, I propose that new clause 59 be now read the second time. This is about offenses, which will be this will cover penalties which will be paid by people who will be found to be guilty during the implementation of the housing projects under the Big Four. Currently at 10,000, now is being moved to 1 million shilling.
I propose the question that new clause 59 be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 59 be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 59 be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 59 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 60.
Chair.
Mr. Chair, I propose that new clause 60 be now read the second time with an amendment to section 26 to read section 29.
I now propose the question that new clause 60 be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 60 be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of that contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 59 be part of the bill. I now put the question. Sorry, members, I will have a retake on that. I propose the question that new clause 60 be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 60 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of that contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 61.
Chair.
Mr. Chair, I propose that new clause 61 be now read the second time. This is about stamp duty, which will exempt the developers of the housing scheme from paying that stamp duty when transferring from themselves to the National Housing Corporation, because stamp duty then will apply to the person who is going to get the house.
I propose the question that new clause 61 be now read a second time. Honorable members, we are just doing a house cleaning exercise. And thank you for being patient. I had proposed that section 1 be part of, clause 1 be part of the bill. And the chair, Committee on Finance, has a proposal on this. Chair?
Mr. Chair, I propose that clause 1, subsection A, be amended by inserting new clause 7A and new clause 8A immediately after 46.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 1 be amended as proposed by the chair. The Honorable Asheli?
Chair, as much as those clauses had not been indicated in the current clause 1, yes, we need to tighten it by that the word "and" should come in between the new clauses that we are currently adding, Chair.
No,
so that the additional should be after the number 12 and
correct.
Number 46.
Correct. You are correct, but it will be tidied up.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but our technical people will be able to take it in.
Okay.
So, honorable members, allow me then to put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The mover to move reporting now.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 51 of 2019, and its approval thereof with amendments.
I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 51 of 2019, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Honorable members, Mr. Speaker.
Order members, it has been a long afternoon indeed, and day. Chairperson.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 51 of 2019 and approved the same with amendments.
Very well. Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Vice Chair, Honorable Dirangu, to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Dirangu, the Vice Chair.
I second, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Honorable members, I propose a question which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Honorable members who paid putting the question on that particular. Next order.
Order number 10, motion, revised session of paper number 1 of 2019 on the policy framework for reforming education and training for sustainable development in Kenya.
Honorable members, this is a continuation from Honorable Sophia Noor had a remainder of 1 minute. Honorable Sophia Noor, what is out of order, Majority Leader?
I misled Honorable Sophia. I told her the finance bill might take long, so so I think we can take it to the next sitting of the House, maybe tomorrow.
Well, this is a continuation of debate, Honorable Majority Leader. Her 1 minute will drop. She's not here. You may have to have, in another arrangement, apologize to her. But, honorable members, we had not two actually, quite a number of members who had spoken to this, 14 of them. If you have spoken to this particular item, you will not get another chance. So, honorable members, shall I be guided by the lot here, those who have registered interest to speak to this? Top on the list is Honorable Bayer. Yeah. Yes, if in the absence of that, Honorable Babu, shall we have Honorable Osotsi? Honorable Osotsi, I suppose you hadn't spoken to this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to also raise. Clearly identifies the challenges we are facing in education sector. But, Mr. Speaker, I have some reservation because some of the solutions that have been suggested in this sessional paper are not very adequate to address the challenges that the same sessional paper has identified. They are not very practical, and it is not clear how the government intends to implement the solution to those challenges. Mr. Speaker, this paper has clearly identified that there has been an improvement in the enrollment at all levels, from pre-primary to university to TVETs. There has been an increase in the enrollment levels at all those levels. But, Mr. Speaker, there are challenges of capacity, challenges of access, challenges of quality, and challenges of sustainability, provision of infrastructure. Those issues, I am not convinced by the proposed solution that the government has given in the sessional paper. So, Mr. Speaker, I would have expected to see very practical solutions to the issues of education in this country. Because education in this country, Mr. Speaker, I want to say it has a real challenge that we must look at. And especially the issue of quality, Mr. Speaker. We are seeing people come out of school and are not even able to write an application letter, and someone has a degree. That is an issue of quality of education. We have also seen reports by organizations like, Uwezo Kenya, which has questioned the ability of primary school children to do simple arithmetic or to speak simple English. Those are issues of quality. So this particular sessional paper should have given very, very practical and implementable solutions to issues of quality. Mr. Speaker, this policy paper also talks about a university education. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the university education in this country is failing. When we went to university, Mr. Speaker, We went to university when university education was really university education. Nowadays, you get someone who got a D in Form 4, and you are in school with that person. You meet him, after some time you hear that he is a PhD holder. He's called Dr. So-and-so. How is this possible, Mr. Speaker? Something went wrong somewhere. And I am among the people who are saying maybe it is important for us to relook at the issue of what we call Module 2. These evening programs that people go on to take. On one hand, it has enhanced access to university education. But on the other hand, it has diverted university from the primary core, which is quality university education and research. Now universities are focused on doing business, enrolling many, many students. They don't care about the quality so long as they get the money. It is not possible to have a master's class, for example, of 200 or even 300 students sitting in one lecture room and expect to get the best quality. Mr. Speaker, I think this is an issue we need to look at. And the other thing on university education, Mr. Speaker, we must also look at the issue of a requirement that one has to have university education to do some things. For example, a requirement that one has to have a university education to become a governor or an MP. Because these are the requirements which are making people to fake papers. These are requirements that is making even our university education quality to go down. We would rather remove this requirement so that now people can focus on promoting quality education. Mr. Speaker, also the issue of integration of ICT into education is very clearly outlined in this policy paper. But Mr. Speaker, I expected to hear more on the issue of integration of ICT into education in this policy paper. The issue of how do we promote innovation in ICT from lower levels of learning, primary all the way to university. It is not clearly specified in this paper. And yet, Mr. Speaker, if this country has to innovate, one of the things that we need to invest in is we invest in ICT research, training, accreditation, and development of ICT.
You support. Honorable, shall we have Honorable Dhuku Kwenya, member for Kinangop?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to speak on this sessional paper number 1 of 2019. Indeed, it's a paper whose time has come. And it is well thought out and attempts to answer the many challenges that we are facing in matters of education in the Republic of Kenya. One thing that is for sure, as Nelson Mandela once said, that education is the only equalizer. I mean, that is the only way that a child from a humble background can die in the same table with a child that was born in and raised in the palace. And that being the case, we need to give education the weight that it deserves. The government has attempted to do that by budgetary allocation, whereby we find that almost a third of our budget goes to education. But I don't think that we're doing enough as a country in matters of education. If at all we're going to achieve what this beautiful sessional paper is attempting to do, then we have to be deliberate in our resolve and in our actions. That indeed we have to build capacity, so that then, as much as we want to roll out a very beautiful education system that is going to be competence-based, there are fundamental issues that we have to deal with first, especially the issue of infrastructure, because like we just witnessed the other day, and something that is a shocker, of course, to the whole nation, that a whole ward in the Republic of Kenya, there is no public primary school. And therefore, any shanty that was available, the parents were happy to take their kids there because they didn't have any other option. And that is so telling in terms of our commitment towards education. You can imagine a ward like Gando, where our colleague, Honorable KJ, represents, a whole ward without public school, and we are talking of winning in the matters of education. Then there must be deliberate action whereby the government must invest heavily, and in terms of priority, there are areas that need to be given priority so that then everybody can access this education. We have had reports of what needs to be done, but implementing has always been a challenge in this country. And if really we have to get there, we have to change our attitude and our approach to things and to the things that we aspire to do. Infrastructure is a big challenge in this republic. And as much a constituency in Nairobi that has about 3 schools, and I'm expected that from the same kitty, I'm supposed to develop all my schools and be at par or in tandem with a constituency in Nairobi that has 3 schools. So that then you find that we have so many condemned structures in schools. Yet we are still talking of 100% transition of kids from primary to secondary school. You know, it beats every logic. Because if indeed we are talking of equity and equality in this country, but when it comes to resources allocation, it is not seen to be done, then we disadvantage some areas and really will never achieve that equity. We have so many schools that are disaster waiting to happen. We have reports that have been given by the Ministry of Public Works that these schools are not good for our children, but then we still continue doing business as usual. Finally, the issue of staffing, the ratio of students to teachers or pupils to teachers, of course, is something that is worrying us. Yet, we are talking of really achieving such a beautiful, actualizing such a beautiful report. We must be true to ourselves. As the executive must do what they're supposed to do in terms of staffing. Instead of preaching this gospel of free primary and secondary education, they must fund adequately so that then we can have enough teachers in our schools. As much as I support, I have my reservations. There's much more that needs to be done now because I think this report is for the future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I support.
Honorable Manzo Kitonga.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to comment on this very important session of paper number 1 of 2019 on the policy framework for reforming education and training for sustainable development in Kenya. Although it has been presented first and foremost, Mr. Speaker, you realize that this session of paper is what will inform the policy of education in this country. And although the chair is here, and when he was vice chair of education, and he's my very good friend, I really engaged him in the other parliament on this matter because I felt that things were not going right, and I felt that there was no sufficient public participation on this education matter. But as things are today, I have a child in level 3, and this has already been implemented even before we debate it. And therefore, the new policy is already implemented. Books have been printed, and it's already been implemented even before we approve a sessional paper. And it's only a sessional paper which informs the policy. And the policy informs the law, because there are quite a number of statutes which are supposed to be amended to be able to give direction within the law as what is going to happen with the new curriculum. So on my part, I find that the government has been very, high-handed on this one. And the Minister of Education decided he's going to come up with the policies and implement them even before they've been debated and passed by this House. So that happened, and a lot of people have gotten into trouble because of this policy. 288 teachers had been interdicted. There were some proceedings within the TSC Commission. Some were Some were sacked, and then upon being sacked, there were court orders which were not obeyed, and some were reinstated. And others do not know their fate up to today. In fact, they have appealed and have even decided to, yes, from Makueni, and particularly Kibwezi West, where the Honorable Musimba represents, and actually are in court. We have hearings coming up in November. And therefore, people have gotten into trouble while trying to ask questions on these people in the teaching profession. The Wananchi, representatives of NAT, people have gotten into trouble for trying to straighten things. Everyone wants a new curriculum. I want to say the new curriculum is a good thing. We need to keep on improving our education. Canadian universities, all over the world, Australia, our students have done very well. Meaning we were prepared very well. And when I went to high school myself, Mr. Speaker, my school was #1 in 1992 in Kenya. And most of my classmates became very successful surgeons, pilots. I meet all of them all over the world as very successful people, having scored very well with 844 system, meaning that 844 was really a success. So what seemed to have gone wrong was the overloading of students. You know, those days, Mr. Speaker, I could even score 99% in history, geography, and those subjects, mathematics. And today I wonder why students don't score full A. So definitely something needs to be done so that we have a better education, but it cannot be done upside down. What has happened in this sessional paper, things have been done upside down. The education system has already been implemented illegally. It's not that no one has seriously gone to court to stop it, and we are thinking of it. It has been implemented illegally. It's a good thing, but it should be rectified through this House once this sessional paper goes through, and then whatever needs public participation, everything should be done, Mr. Speaker, so that every Kenyan has an opportunity to participate in this thing, in this event, which will prepare Kenyans for the future. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We shall have Honorable Angatia Savula.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute on this sessional paper in regard to the education industry in this country. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, I would like to suggest that we do an amendment to the constitution of this country in regard to the appointment of cabinet secretaries, because you cannot put measures or parameters where CECs in counties are required to have degrees, while cabinet secretaries, there is no provision for standards in terms of education. Even a deep minus fellow can become a CS because the constitution is open there on terms of education. How does it reflect in a society where you have a cabinet secretary who is a class 8 dropout? So when you're discussing this sessional paper, let's begin by amending the constitution so that we cover that loophole. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, when you're talking about education, the mother of education is primary school. When you don't build good structures at primary school level, then you're not developing education in this country. And CDF is what builds primary school. With the disaster that happened recently, Mr. Speaker, I would suggest that the infrastructure funds under the Ministry of Education be transferred to CDF so that we can utilize that money to build good infrastructure in our schools to promote the quality of education in this country. Mr. Speaker, where I come from, I'm only allocated 100 million by CDF, but I have